You leave my mother and pregnant pauses out of the same sentence, okay?
Done. Wow, what a great thing to have on your opening for a recording and Twitch session. Welcome, my friends, and welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for tonight's event, Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Tithes of Acheron. This is, my notes have incorrect information here. Let me see. This is episode 2 of Segmentum 2nd of Scepters and Crowns. And with me are, of course, my wonderful Grimdark players, Alterios, Warner, Darius, Jesus, and Rev. Let's take a moment, check in with all of them while I do a pregnant pause of my own to get my head and brain and mouth all wired on the same page. And let's see what's new and exciting for them. We'll start with Rev.
See, a pregnant pause is when you have an awkward silence like this. Anyway,
Did anybody else find that awkward? No? Just him? Okay.
all right. So, I was more amused than awkwarded, but...
Sure. Anyway, Rev, what's new and exciting for you?
Well, as far as my gym goals are going, I'm up to an hour of cardio. 40 minutes with the arms, 20 minutes on a recumbent bike.
Nice. Progress is progress.
And it uses bands, so it doesn't exactly have a measurable number, but I'm hitting about 360 to 480 rows with about 100 pounds of resistance.
Okay. I don't know, from my own experiences, I don't know what those numbers mean, but they sound impressive.
Pretty good.
So if it's progress, that's really what counts. So, at least in my opinion, that's good. Keep going. This reminds me of a line in Battlestar Galactica that I watched recently, because I'm doing a Battlestar Galactica watch. The remake from like 2004 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line in there where the younger Adama gains a little bit of weight at some point, and he's like, "All right, well, Dad, I gotta go. I have a date with a jump rope." And his dad looks at him, the older Adama, and he's like, "The fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Hey, I'm down half a stone," which, by the way, is like 7 or 8 pounds, because I forget exactly what the measurement is. Whatever. His dad just looks at him, and he's like, "Keep jumping." I was like, "Damn." I don't know if that was a compliment. I don't know if that was motivation. I don't know what that was. But that was just 2 words, deadpanned.
I was just going to ask
if peak dad.
Yep.
I was going to ask if keep going was a reference to my intro or the exercise, but...
No, it was to the exercise. Speaking of exercising, Darius, what's new and exciting for you?
I wasn't through with my intro.
Well, you're done now.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't. My stock portfolio is in the tank because they just announced that 50 Chinese tech companies got blacklisted in the U.S. markets today.
Oh, no. Cool. So sad. Anyway, Darius. I'm sorry. I was definitely memeing on that one a little bit, too.
A little bit?
What do you got, Darius?
Well, I won the first part of the placement trials.
You did.
For Battletech.
You did. You finished your first match. You moved on.
And who did you beat to do that?
Me. It was me. He
Omar.
beat me.
Yep.
See, if I say it, it disarms him. If he says it, he gets to get one in on me.
Well, just in case there was any misconstruement by the viewers, I wanted to make it clear who lost.
Yeah, it was me, the GM, who's supposed to lose.
Yes.
Really? Could you, like, give a phone call back in time? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd like a phone call back in time to the Pendragon crew.
So the fight where my
Why are
son's
you so
character
hooked
didn't
up
die?
over that?
Let me tell you something. You want to see where the GM almost kills the entire party? Watch last night's episode of Alien.
Well, that too.
I mean, you're supposed to kill the party off at the end.
I will say this: in a cinematic, session or episode or whatever you want to call it, yes. In a campaign, it's not frowned upon, but it's also understood that you're not really trying to kill them. It just kind of happens after a while.
All your friends are laughing behind your back.
In a
Kill
camp
them.
in a campaign like that, having some frequent deaths isn't exactly an alien concept.
No.
Well, the other thing too is like character creation's relatively straightforward and simple. Like you don't have a whole lot of thought put into it as far as putting characters together.
I think some of the cinematic modules even give you like a character, like here,
Yeah.
this is what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of fun though. You should check it out. It's
Yeah.
on YouTube right now.
I
Yes, I'm
remember a
sort of quasi plugging my own
role-playing-
content.
I remember
mean,
a role-playing game a
it's
couple
fun to
years
watch.
back where you were supposed to die perhaps multiple times every session.
That
The
sounds
name
something
of
like
that?
that sounds like Paranoia.
Nope. It was a delightful system called Kobolds Ate My Baby.
I don't even know that one. That's a deep dive right there. Also, do I get points for referencing the Paranoia system?
Paranoia system?
That depends on what you mean by points.
Okay. Well, red level classification.
It also makes me a little nervous that you brought it up.
Well, for those that don't know, Paranoia is a role-playing game where you play one character who also has 5 or 6 clones behind it, so when you die doing some really strange things like completing the mission that friend computer gave you, and also attempting to do the tasks that your secret party has given you, which usually involves sabotaging or defeating other player characters. So in other words, everybody ends up being super paranoid that everybody's out to get them, because guess what? They are.
Also,
parano-
Friend
it's not paranoid.
Computer is one of my favorite characters.
Friend computer is your friend until he's not.
Remember, it's not paranoia if everybody is in fact out to get you.
This is also very true. Actually, I remember one of my Traveler players brought it up, and I started looking into it, and I was like, "Yo, I could definitely have some fun with this," because now it's like, first it was Alien RPG. I'm encouraged to kill my player characters. Now I'm encouraged to fuck with my player characters. I don't even have to kill them. Just get the fuck with them.
What if you did an alien RPG with a paranoia style system where everyone is androids?
Oh shit, that would actually. Oh my god, that could be interesting. That could be very interesting. I'll have to give you. I'll have to figure something out with that one.
You always know a working Joe.
Yeah. All right, sorry, Darius. We totally freaking hijacked your shit. You got anything else, man?
No,
Okay.
not really.
All right, Alterios, what do you got for us, brother?
Not much. Just been a slow week.
Indeed. Also, Hashin, hello. Quick side note, based on the chat that Hashin has thrown out there, I have considered attempting to put together a Cthulhu game. There is a lot of research I would need to do in order to do that. And then I could also attempt to bribe Glimo, but I don't know what his sweet spot is in order to make that happen. To have him run at least a one-shot for us, but I'll see what I can do. No promises. Absolutely no promises. But if I could get Glimo to run a Cthulhu game, that would be amazing.
We get lost in the warp and you retheme elements of a Cthulhu game one shot into the crew in some sort of strange warpness.
Yeah, into the crew trying to get out of the warp again. Yeah.
If you wanted to kill us, you could just throw us on a Space Hulk.
If I wanted to kill you guys, I'd just space you.
Yeah, but at least with the Space Hulk, you get the veneer of wanting to give us a story.
At least with the Space Hulk, it's an option of which one of us is the one that opens up the door that leads into the void, as opposed to it just being me. Warner,
It's space or the Tyranids. Which one do you want?
right? Warner, other than trying to keep your liquefied brain inside your skull, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
New and exciting.
Or just, mundane, more of, if you want.
Mundane. Aside from work being very busy and me being a little fried, my wife is steam cleaning the carpets because spring cleaning is a thing.
That is a thing, and my son and I have started that. But it wasn't so much like I had him. So basically, my son's been having half days all week, and so I was like, "Hey, could you do this for me?" And it wasn't anything even really super big. It was just like a handful of things that needed to be done that would have probably taken him like 20 or 30 minutes if he just, got focused on it, picked it all up, put it away where it was supposed to go, etc. I just hit that point where it's like, all right, listen, the clutter. It's cluttered in here. It's driving me nuts. Can you do something about it while I'm at work today? Next thing you know, we have a conversation later that night. It's like, we're basically doing a mini protracted spring cleaning thing. And I'm like, I didn't mean to do spring cleaning. I just wanted to get some things cleaned up because I'm tired of the clutter. Which is admittedly entirely my fault for things getting to the point where they are.
Well, if he's doing cleaning, I would not look the gift horse in the
Oh,
mouth.
no, absolutely. In fact, this morning, in one breath, he was like, I don't want to go to school. And the next breath is there anything you want me to do today? It's like, well. And you know what? He didn't
Since
do,
you
and I gave
asked.
some very, I don't want to say vague instructions, but I was like, see what you can do with your bathroom. He's 11, so I'm not expecting perfect. I'm not expecting, a miracle. Just do something with your bathroom. I came home. He straightened up the bathroom. Was there more that I think he could have done? Possibly. But you know what? He did something with the bathroom. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. He made an effort, and it seemed like an honest effort.
You open up the cabinets and an avalanche happens.
Not yet. I know better. No, my kid's actually pretty good about that kind of thing.
No, I'm allowed to make jokes, right?
Yeah. No. They like when it comes down to like if you have him do something, he will do it as best he understands and as best as he can. And if you want more, you got to make sure you give him that guidance initially, or you guide him throughout. So,
Well, that was my assessment of the time I spent with him.
yeah,
That
yeah.
sounded weird, but like I've played games with him.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know. Jesus H Christ, what's the name of that goddamn game now? Helldivers. I was literally sitting here thinking it starts with H, and I just could not think of the word. Warner, was there anything else?
No, that's pretty much
hijack
it.
the shit out of yours as well.
It's cool. It's cool.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
my yogurt pretzels, they didn't open like they were supposed to.
Oh well.
Oh, bummer. That's totally a first world problem that I'm just like,
No, it's still sealed. I definitely
Oh.
don't have a massive wall of knives behind me.
Previously on Warhammer 40,000 Tithes of Acheron, our crew braved the horrors of the warp and managed to once again miraculously arrive back in real space, wholly untouched by the madness of the Immaterium, and even more remarkably, right where they meant to be when they meant to be, back in the Furibundus system, not far off the Footfall Station. Here they spotted the Fell Hand, flagship of rival rogue trader Haderach Fell, undergoing what appears to be extensive repairs for an obscene amount of warp-inspired damages it seems to have endured since it was last here several months ago. Lastly, the crew arrives at the station proper and prepares to receive both Liege Tanthus Moros and the local Inquisitor Sabrina Andrymos. And I am going to let Rev spearhead and then support him where needed in order to do this, because Rev has what I am referring to as a dubious plan.
It's not dubious.
Listen, it's the first word
I think he meant
It's even in
diabolical.
my notes as a dubious plan. Follow his lead.
Okay, well, I want to arrange it so that.
Listen, okay, hold on. Before you get going, and I don't mean to cut you off because I know you've got like a great thing here that you want to do. For my sake, let's one step this at a time. Do the individual scene, and then move on to the next one. You know what I mean?
Yes, but there's a preamble required for said scenes.
Sure.
I want to arrange it so that the invitations and requests that seem like there was some urgency and on them are so that the visits for the Inquisitor and the Prince are staggered.
Yes.
So essentially, the message to the Inquisitor is please be here at X time. It's when we're docking. And then to the now, actually, I shouldn't contact the Prince directly. I should contact his because I was told that who I would be working with was his subordinate. So
I think he
the
gave you
action-
like his office or like his.
no, there's the intermediary that worked at some other part of the station
Oh,
that you
I don't
that you had
remember.
assigned to us as a contact.
And I'm sure it's in my notes, but I have multiple episodes worth of notes that I would have to.
We'll
say.
just say that we know for metagame reasons that
Yeah.
he's going to invite the prince.
Yeah. Because I want to say it was going to be a dock worker, but then I moved it up a few levels because of like reasons, basically.
Mm-hmm. Or we could, while I'm doing dice rolls and other things, you look back through the notes because that's not who I'm meeting with first. It's who I'm meeting with second.
Listen, me digging through the notes is going to take quite some time because I don't remember how far back I'd have to go. So I'd have to open up many separate Word files and start sifting.
I thought you took some lessons from Rodance on note taking. Shame on you.
You thought wrong, and Rodance, I'm sorry, I failed you.
So we'll make it the Prince in this circumstance if you want.
Sure.
Well,
conversely, maybe the Prince is like, they're here. Let me go get my goodies.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, the Prince, the regional heads of the Casbolica are known as princes.
I know.
One admin note that I forgot to mention. I think I said something about this earlier today. There is a pretty big, for us here in the PN a big thunderstorm system moving through, and if I am booted because I lose power or whatever, we're gonna wrap right there on the spot. I'm not gonna make any effort to come back on tonight.
Okay.
So it may or may not happen. I don't know, because this is one of those things where it's like, ooh, it's Snowmageddon 27. I'm like, yeah, the last time you said that, it was literally it knocked over a plastic chair and we picked it up. So who knows? Or we could have hail and a tornado. Who knows? It's anywhere from one end to the other.
Y'all are having snow?
No. I'm referring to other storms that have come through that everybody's like, oh, panic and lose reason and stockpile water and toilet paper. It's the end times. And then nothing happens.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is, as they say, hailstorms the size of dollars and tornadoes.
I'm now picturing flat, thin sheets of hail.
As soon as I said size of dollars, I was like, somebody's going to misunderstand that intentionally. At any rate, storm coming through. I may lose power. If I lose power, we're out for the night. Apologies all. Back to how we're going to dupe the Prince and potentially even the Inquisitor.
How dare you have bad weather?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man.
So now,
I live
regularly
on Earth.
scheduled shenanigans.
So my point was going to be Inquisitor first, Prince second, but the messages that are sent out for them to when we'd be finished docking are staggered accordingly.
Okay.
So that they think they're arriving as soon as we're done with docking preparations.
Now, I was under the impression, from what we briefly discussed last week, was that you wanted to have a chance to meet with the Prince and have the Inquisitor there overwatching in order to add to your intended duping.
No. What I wanted was to have the meeting with the Inquisitor, inform her of what I would need. I am meeting what she's asked of me. And I'm asking a small favor that at some area that my crew would direct her to, that she wait there and be a passive, glowering figure as the Prince is escorted past.
Okay, yeah.
Except I'm not telling her he's the Prince.
Right. I just need you to stand over here and look menacingly at
I
this
said,
person.
I have a deal with the chief of the station.
Yeah.
It's intense negotiations.
I mean,
and it
let's
would
be
help
honest.
me.
She probably knows exactly who this guy is. She would be a foolish inquisitor if she didn't.
Here's the thing, though.
Unspoken.
If she was certain he was the prince or in charge of all of the people trading in Xenos artifacts, as the Xenos Inquisitor, she would literally be duty bound to arrest him.
Sometimes it's better the devil you know than the one you don't. On that note, I'm not going to get into the argument. You're probably right, though.
She knows the Casbolica is on the station.
Yeah.
He's not going to let her know that he's the one in charge of it.
Right.
Any dealings he would have had with her would have been strictly as the one in charge of the station, and he wouldn't have wanted her to have a clue that he was the guy to target.
They're both trying to keep their business and pleasure separated.
And if she does know, there's also the how far she swings on the Puritan to radical spectrum.
Yes, where the Puritan lets him live and the radical eviscerates him on the spot.
More like the Puritan has him burned for heresy on the spot, and the radical is like,
I think we're on the same page. It's just I'm reading the passages slightly differently than you are.
Well,
the radical says, "Hook me up, yo."
Yeah.
And by the way, if you don't hook me up, I'm killing you and taking all this.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm killing you. It's just a matter of whether or not you give me your shit. I already had
inferred that she wasn't toward the radical end of things, because if she was, she would be working with them, and they wouldn't be working at cross purposes, getting me to do the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So your ship is pulling into its slip. Thale almost immediately starts setting out about replenishing supplies and crew and whatever, unless you have anything specific for him. Messages
as we're docking
back and forth. Go ahead.
As we're docking, how is the progress on refurbishing and refitting our two ships that we have here?
Let me take a look at how long exactly have you guys been gone? I want to say it was like 3 or 4 months that you've been gone. Let's see. Arrived with Hermitage.
I've forgotten the name of the frigate, but is Pursuit of Profit still being repaired?
Yes, is the short answer.
The frigate already had a name, and
Are you talking about the Wolfpack Raider?
Yes.
That you redesignated as the Paralos? Or Paralos, one of the two.
Okay.
And then the Pursuit of Profit, they're both being still in the process of being repaired. I believe the Paralos was significantly further along, but so if anything, the Paralos is probably closer to being just...
I was going to say the Paralos had minor damage.
Yeah, it's more like they, just waiting for sufficient crew to put it under service. And then the Pursuit of Profit's probably going to take a couple more months to finish up. It's definitely looking better than it was the last time you were here a few months ago. Holes and ratty and stuff falling off. And
all that jazz.
Well, in this case, it'd be more like all of that rocky bits. There was no jazz in there. So yes, the other ships are still under repairs. Pursuit of Profit is probably got a couple months left. Paralos is basically just waiting for final crew to be put together. And Sabrina Dramos is casually awaiting your announcement, proclamation of arrival, or whatever it is that you're going to do.
Well, I want her on the ship as quickly as possible, just in case the...
Oh, look at that! She was waiting for you at the slip for your ship to pull into dock. It's basically almost as if she knew you were coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tried to set it up so that she would be here basically as we docked, and the prince might have a little bit misinformation about when we were going to finish docking.
Hang on, my son is texting me something that I legitimately do not know the answer to.
It was amusing, Warner, when we were on the phone earlier, and we were talking about slow cooking versus, skirt steak.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, but you don't slow cook a skirt steak, and he starts nodding furiously and like pointing at his head and pointing at me, pointing at his temple, I should say, to be more specific.
Okay, guess I had to be there for that part. Yes, so Sabrina is on the dock already, and it appears as though the prince is not terribly far behind. Perhaps even
Okay.
rushing a bit, as though he was, given a late minute notice and was not thrilled about it, but he's kind of wanting to get down there.
So I'm meeting with
Yes. So
the Inquisitor first.
okay.
All the proper formalities, Lady Inquisitor. Right this way. I take her to a room that I've either the stateroom or some other decently appointed room where the artifact is waiting inside of the jamming field. I explain to her the dangers and risks that were involved with this. I tell her that I have additional intelligence for her that may or may not be of use, and I give her the exact coordinates of where the ship was, the force field technology that we didn't remove from it, and a general description and images and scans of the other alien ships that were around it that might be of interest to someone of the Ordo Xenos. At some point during that, I take and I slide across, folded, a small note that said, I was contacted by the Casbolica to do the exact same thing. They knew everything that you did, if not more. May have a mole in your organization.
She is incredibly grateful for the information about where you picked up this artifact, um, as well as the associated bits of intel that came with it, like the other ships and lidar scans, etc., etc., etc. When she sees this note and she reads it, she crumples it furiously, and then she says, "He may have seemed to have known more, but I assure you, Lord Captain, that I know more than he, they, whichever." I don't think you mentioned anybody in particular. Just
I didn't.
yeah, you just mentioned the Casbah. So yeah, so she's like, "I assure you that I know more than they about this item, but though I still don't know what exactly it does."
I then inform her of the ill portents that we had seen. The
visions
mishap,
and whatnot.
Well, I may say that other crew members seem to have visions, and then not to as to point the finger at my navigator for potential corruption. I'm simply saying that those crew members have been dealt with and assessed, and
Gotcha.
and are not
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
And I'll say, but we do have one crew member. I am willing to throw out the assistant chef in order to appear to be cooperating with the.
Oh yes. Okay.
So I'm telling her we've held and interrogated this guy. He says he didn't do anything, but this is what happened in the mess hall, and I relay the events of the mess hall and the jamming. Like I've made it clear the jamming signal.
Mm-hmm.
I would have asked Icaros, is this jamming field portable? Can it be made portable to go with the object?
So
was
Icarus
not in the
but
was not in the original design specification.
So if I recall correctly, what you had done, or at least what I had envisioned, is imagine 3 speakers, like a speaker on a tripod, and then 3 of them placed equilaterally around this object, the artifact, or whatever you want to call it. And by placing those 3 there, you're able to dampen or negate, cancel out whatever signals it's sending out. So you could, it's not entirely portable in the most easiest of ways, but repositioning it would not be without some minor challenge. That came out weird. It wouldn't be that difficult to reposition it.
I didn't think so. It's just it wasn't like I'm supposing I need to have time in order to make it so.
Yeah, like it was like a couple hours of work plus the travel time from A to B.
Yeah.
To reposition it all. That's really what it boils down to.
So I'll ask that's something that happened. That's a previous conversation.
Yeah.
I'll ask the lady if she has anyone of technical proficiency, or if her staff is more martial and investigatory in nature.
I do have a few tech priest adepts for technical concerns when they may arise. I'm sure your ship's engineer can compensate or instruct them in anything that they may need.
Then I'll ask I said when you're taking the object, unless you're taking it to somewhere that you don't want him to know about, you have the temporary use of my engineer should he see fit to come with you to ensure the proper protections of this. And I will also recommend, my lady, that should you have devices akin to a Geller field that can localize, protect something from the influence of the warp, this device needs to be in such protection.
This artifact needs to be kept within an active Geller field?
No, well, I said anything that can protect against the machinations of the warp. That it seemed to be sending out some sort of... so while it didn't appear to be corrupting, it did appear to be able to influence the environment itself.
It does, from our research, seem to have the ability to draw upon. So perhaps while you were in transit, that was what you experienced, but your Geller field mitigated or reduced the damages or effects, etc. This bears further considerations.
I will say that while this was described to me as a beacon, it appeared to serve one of two purposes based off of the strange sightings that were had aboard ship and dealt with already. Personnel who were no longer available for interrogation reported.
They're dead?
Dead, or they are certainly not able to be apprehended, shall we say.
Okay.
My navigator's from a noble house. She has a "you can't touch me" stamp from the Inquisition.
I think when you say, now I realize that's not the exact words you use, but I think when you make that statement, there's a quirk of an eyebrow. She's like, "Oh, really?" But she doesn't press it because it is a navigator house, and in order for her to make that kind of a move, it requires an awful lot more backup and paperwork, and by the way, a thing called evidence.
And I will say that based off of that and the word from my Imperial Sanctioned Psyker about this device, it appears to serve one of two purposes. It's either a beacon for an unknown enemy or a warning about them.
Perhaps it being a beacon is a warning. She says, slightly whimsically, but definitely pensively. Have your engines. I will have my tech adepts interface with your engineer to facilitate the movement of this object. I believe we have terms of compensation to consider now.
Well, in addition to any further remunerances, I am having some negotiation difficulties. I have my fingers in several pies, and the chief of station seems to think that his contacts with other individuals, such as the rogue trader, outstrip any influence I might have. So if you could bear your presence for a moment after we conclude our negotiations, my staff will take you to a place where you can glare at him with the appropriate weight needed to bend negotiations in my direction.
You're asking me to do this favor for you.
I'm asking you to stare at a man for about 90 seconds.
I could stare at any man and make that man's soul wither as though a rose dried in the heat of the scorching sun. But I do so at my choice, not yours. However,
it was but a
I
request.
can do this and reduce the remunerations you may receive for having done this task. And she has quite a cold smirk on her face. It's difficult to tell if she's fucking with you or not.
I will say, if your remunerations are at stake, of which I have no guarantee, his are not guaranteed either. But I do believe that you can reward, as a representative of the Emperor, can reward far more handsomely than the Regent of Footfall.
I would certainly hope that Footfall's I keep wanting to say this word wrong. I would certainly hope that the Footfall's remunerations are pitiful and probably unholy to some degree, if not wholly unholy. She smirks at her own play on words. You would be best to accept our payment for services rendered. That said, please show me to this observation point, and I will glower most freely at this individual.
So, he's brought on.
Yep.
And as I escort him, and basically we're like, as we approach where she is, which I've set up in advance, I feign, and you can have me roll for whatever. I say, oh, she's here. And I start to figure out another way that says, no, it's too late. And then we just continue quickly through the corridor, basically me trying to pretend like she's not there and ushering him past.
Oh, shit.
As quickly as possible.
He stutters in his step for a moment, especially when you're like, oh, shit, she's here. He looks up and he sees her and he freezes up for a second or two. And then as you are like, well, it's too late. We're already here. It takes him a second or two extra to notice or to follow suit. And you could tell he's feeling the weight of this. It's a smoldering look, and I'm not talking Zoolander smolder. This is a withering plasma beam.
Blue steel.
Yes, exactly. Except this is red. This is the fire of the God Emperor made manifest right here. She is pouring it on so well. It's almost as if she actually hates this guy.
She's got the look.
Also, I failed by 0 degrees of failure that roll right there. He almost saw through your bullshit.
It was a close thing.
Yes.
It's an interesting. I didn't get a chance to make my own roll with multiple successes.
Had I succeeded, you would have been able to make. Then I would have called for your deception to see if your number of successes outweighed his.
It would.
You haven't rolled yet.
My deception, with all of my bonuses for nobility, underworld, and
that's right.
high level affairs, I would have to roll above a 98, I believe, to fail.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
99.
He's
Yeah.
not saying that he's a great
exactly.
liar.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, Rev, but some of our rolls have gone something to the order of 98 and 100.
Yes, but I'm simply saying statistically.
Yeah, statistically.
So.
All right. So yeah, he's got a bit of a shake in the boots as he moves forward because he feels like he might have been caught in some bullshit. He's not sure how to back out of it now.
We get to whatever room. It's not the room with the object, obviously. I prepared a second room.
Yeah. Where is it? Did you find it? It's here, yes? I can almost feel it.
But I pull him in, I grab him by the collar, I mirror his scared energy that he had a minute ago, and I'm like, what did you get me into?
It's an alien artifact. That's all it is. It's just nobody really knows.
The Inquisitor is throwing around words like traitor and consorting with Xenos.
Of course she is. It's a Xenos artifact. What did you expect? Why is she even here?
I said, she knew more than you did. It was like she has a mole in your organization.
And at this point, he stands up straight, takes a breath, looks around, and you could see that he has dropped his station commander act and gone into his Kazbalika act. Now, since it's just you and me and maybe some guards here.
No, the room is clear. I wanted to make it look like this was
Yeah,
secret.
So it's just you and him right now?
Yes.
All right, yeah. At this point, he is basically turned into a totally different person. This is now the prince, not the liege. And he says, now, pray tell, what in the shit is going on right now? Do you have the artifact or not?
I had the artifact. She got here with a stamp
You
from the
had
Emperor himself.
The artifact.
Yes, as soon as I docked
You
at this
let her
station.
take it before I could even review it as per our agreement.
Our agreement.
Yes,
With,
I had first.
with
I had first refusal, did I not? I
our
did.
agreement. Our agreement with your lackey was that you would get to claim. You would have your pick of any of the items that were not initially claimed by the crew.
And was this artifact claimed by her before
No.
or after you docked?
A member of the crew announced themselves to be working with the Inquisition and placed a stamp upon the object itself before I could do anything else.
You didn't shoot this lowly crewman, space the body and the stickers? I say stickers. It you know what phrase it would have been.
Seals.
Seals, thank you.
Yeah, seals. She knows about you. She knew what you were after. She knew everything about this object. She even knew that I'd been meeting with your representative.
Very well. Walk me out. We will assume that she will see that we have simply concluded a small matter of business here and now, and you will escort me back to the other side of the dock.
I stop him. I pull out a data slate. I said,
what's this?
If someone told her about our meeting, it wasn't me. And it's the transmission records between the ship and the thing. I said, I have vetted that no one who was on board this ship ever relayed any information to her.
He takes the data slate and starts thumbing through it, and I'm sure this is probably the equivalent of like pages upon pages upon pages of comms records for like months.
Well, no, I've already narrowed down the It's while we were at this. I personally went through it and I told you about this last time.
Yeah. But I imagine it's
I parsed it down to
Go ahead.
I parsed it down to while we were at Footfall.
Yeah.
And any direct voice or data messages between the ship and Footfall.
Yep. He starts thumbing through it and he says, I wish that I could believe that this information you're giving me is accurate. But I'm sure that a wily rogue trader would have deleted individual lines that would have marked him as Pretorius.
You can have
That
my
said,
word
we
that not a record
can put
was
this
deleted.
behind us. No harm, no foul, but I will be watching.
I raise
Lord
my hand.
Captain.
I say, you have my word and honor as a member of the nobility that not a single record on here of communication was altered. The only things that have been removed are transmissions that are not relevant, that were outside of the system, or that were routine docking, like automated messages between automated systems.
Can you make I believe charm is an option?
I also
Now-
have an additional +10 on charm, so I think we're at 100.
Okay, but hear me out. This is going to be just the charm skill. This is more of a how does he feel walking away from this situation and not anything
I'm not.
specific. You know what I
Well,
mean?
first, I'm not done.
Oh, he's done. But go ahead.
No, I'm not. I say further.
Hold on. Is this a non-consenting conversation? I don't know if I like the way. No, I'm just kidding. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. That was about to be a really bad joke.
So I've given it. If you were going to do this, if it was a test for my word of honor's nobility, that the
Well,
whatever,
no, the charm test is more of a Give me a second. Let me think about how I want to phrase
the
this.
charm test is to see how he leaves from this encounter. Well, I'm not through with this encounter.
Yeah.
The second thing, I have all of the information collected about the solar observatory.
Solar observatory.
Remember the
I know.
alien?
This is
Crystal
him saying the what now?
Gotcha.
Yes, I will say this. I said, you trade in Xenos, and I don't know how easy this would be to trade, but I found a ancient crystalline structure. It has unparalleled holographic technology that seems like you're actually there, and it has recording and display capabilities of the entire system for the entire history of its construction. The Xenos tech contained within this building could make a man rich.
I'm already rich. I don't even have to go anywhere, and I'm rich now.
But I slide all the information. I said, this is exclusively yours. We will be deleting any further records that we have of it to ensure your exclusivity, to show my goodwill.
And this is on that data slate?
Mm-hmm.
He takes that.
Getting...
Well, he still has it, so he's still kind of thumbing through it. He's probably paused.
Well, no, it's two. There's two. This is
okay,
the second
two data slate. Okay, gotcha. He takes the second one, sets it on top of the first one, and starts skimming through it, reading some of the report, looking at some of the imagery that was generated to represent what the observatory could provide, etc. Very well. Walk me out. We will have concluded our deal as such. And he takes both the data slates under his arms like he's carrying a stack of books. And let us call this the end of our negotiations. I will be keeping an eye on you, Bogardio. Should you pass through this way again, you or yours will have my eye on.
Always trust and verify. And may we have profitable business dealings in the future that do not involve threats of immediate incineration.
Speaking of immediate incineration, we need to make this look good, otherwise that Inquisitor will be up both of our asses.
I say, yes, we must be very careful. Perhaps we could be seen to be discussing Footfall's food shortage supply from my world as soon as I reach it.
Sure.
Footfall is exclusively dependent on other worlds for their food supply, and they need a lot of it.
Sure.
That's above the table in case you didn't know.
I missed about half of what you just said.
I basically said we're negotiating essentially a long-term food supply contract for Footfall from my world.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right, yeah. Yeah, so I think what happens is as you guys are walking out in the more public area, he says, yes, and Omaris will provide 1,000 bushels a day. That should be more than sufficient to make up for our shortfalls here on Footfall. You see what I did there? Shortfall, never
mind.
Quite droll, Regent. I would have. Is there a chance, Regent, that I could have use of Footfall's intercom, but for a moment?
He looks at you very, very curiously. Much like I would be if I was standing next to you right now. When you ask me, what do you need my phone for?
Mm-hmm.
What is it you intend to do, Lord?
I'm afraid that I'm not on good terms with the rogue trader Fell, and I wish to send him a message indirectly. If it gives you deniability, my tech priest could easily gain access to the intercom and send the message accordingly.
When you say intercom, are you talking about the intercom like the PA, or are you trying to send a Vox message?
Yes. I'm basically the PA.
Okay. He says, why not? This day can possibly get any worse, short of an asteroid careening through the Emperor's statue. And when he points, he's obviously talking about the God Emperor statue that's like huge in outside the station.
I know. I say, given the warped nature of the artifact we just brought back, is tempting fate really the thing you want to do right now?
One does not succeed and thrive without tempting fate from time to time. And when he says, I may not have done that very well, but when he says that, he's using his I am a Cosbolic and Prince fucker voice.
Well, even still,
The intercom.
above the table, the Cosbolic and Prince wishes he was as rich or had the authority or firepower that a rogue trader does.
Sure, but they also,
Yeah,
I feel like they also believe they have
spread.
that in their pocket already. Whether or not it's true, It's a different story.
I think, yeah, he's got a strut.
He's got a strut. There's images that have to be maintained, if nothing else.
Yes.
But
It's the
anyway,
peacock walk.
yes,
Yeah.
you know it. You know. He does motion over to one side where there's a small Vox terminal that you could, I guess, activate. I almost said plug into, but then I remember this isn't Cyberpunk 2077 or, some other thing. Rev?
Okay, so I pick up the intercom and I say, "Dear denizens of Footfall, an esteemed rogue trader Haderach Fell. You, sir, are a coward who uses lackeys and adjutants to shoot people in the back and behave in a cowardly, undisciplined manner. Further, you have violated the oaths upon which you swore, or your family swore, when they established their warrant of trade and have openly attacked another member of the Imperium. This call is to inform you that I'm calling you out. Show me that you're not a coward. Let's have a duel. Your ship for mine. You and the champion of your choice. I'm sure our host can provide an appropriate arena for said event. Good day."
So, among so many other things, there is absolutely somebody, a large number of somebodies, and doing the ever popular, ever present, ooh. And there, of course, there's a
Reinhardt
few. There are some UFC
gets
memes right
a
now.
glint in his eye and begins to furiously polish his weapons.
There's a lot of people that are like, holy shit, did he really just... In fact, first and foremost, Moros Tanthus is pale and completely off guard. And he just looks at you and he says, "We are done here. Complete your requisite business here on station and leave. As for your duel with Haderach Fell, figure it out. I will not have two rogue traders fighting aboard this station. The image must be maintained."
Of course, the image must be maintained. This is a perfectly honorable, time-established duel between two members of nobility. You wouldn't refuse us that, would you?
I'm not refusing you anything. I'm just simply hoping that you finish your business and get the hell off my station.
Dear Haderach. Or not Haderach, what's his...
Moros.
Tanthus?
Tanthus. I've been getting his name backwards
Morris.
and forwards and backwards and forwards, so it's whatever. Call him James. No, don't
Dear
call him
Prince,
James.
dear Prince Moros. If my gambit succeeds, I'm in possession not only of 2 ships, but 2 warrants of trade. My empire will have doubled, and I'll be one of the most profitable people you'll be working with. Let's not sour the relationship. If my gambit fails, well, you have another doubly valuable partner to work with. The downside for you is negligible.
Very well. He points up, because I'm picturing like the Inquisitor being up in like a balcony or alcove or something up above. He points up towards her, says, "Best deal with her first. Haderach will Fell will assuredly be coming soon."
I say yes, that is a concern. If we win, perhaps she'll see the value of a team with strengths such as mine to be able to handle someone like Phil.
you roll 1d5 minus 2.
Interesting. Okay. So a D10, half it, and then minus 2, huh?
Correct. Minimum of 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. You gain 2 profit factor from your dealings with Moros Tanthus.
And from the Inquisitor?
Not yet. You still got to seal the deal. You got to finish sealing the deal with her.
I thought the deal was already sealed.
Oh, well, okay. So
the request was on the way out, sort of a thing.
Sure.
Let me make a note on.
So you go. Well, in that case, go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Okay, hold on. Let's.
At
I'm
plus
just
20.
making a note. I'm making a note on my sheet here about the updated profit factor. So that should bring us to what?
54 by my calculations.
I have 53. Oh, there was one for the charts or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, I had 52 earlier and 54 now.
Okay, that checks out. All right.
All right. So you need a what roll from me?
Persuasion plus 20.
So this is also interaction skills with high authority. Checks with nobility.
Actually, hold that thought. Hold on. Hang on one second. I'm misreading something here in my notes. Give me just a second.
And did you say a charm or I'm sorry,
Persuasion plus
Persuasion.
20.
I believe I'm going blind. It should be right here in front of my face. I see.
I may have misnamed a skill. Let me see a character sheet really quick. Sure, I'm not losing my own mind.
There's
Charm.
fellowship
Use
is
charm.
the base. Okay.
Because I'm not seeing persuasion specifically. So use charm.
So she's not underworld, but she is nobility, and this is high authority in formal situations. So if we're doing charm, I get another plus 10. So we're looking at an 89.
Okay.
Well, plus the 20, so we're looking at 99.
So don't roll doubles, double hundreds. Oof. Okay, that's a 10. I saw 2 10s. I was like, how is that going to read? That's scary. All right, give me another 1d5 minus 2.
That's strange.
Yes, I know. So that's going to be 1. You earn a total of 5 profit factor for the beacon artifact thingy, and the additional information, LiDAR scans, etc., etc., etc. And if there was anything else you wanted to give her, I don't remember off the top of my head. So what did I just say? 5 profit factor?
Yep.
Okay.
I was
Which
warning
takes
her
us
that
to
she
59.
I was warning her that she was on the same trail as the Casbolica.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Where is...
Since Rodance is no longer with us, when Winter was in the presence of Moros Tanthus, did she fail a psychic roll? Any kind of psychic rolls?
Did she fail one?
Yes, if Moros Tanthos...
Today or before?
Before. If Moros Tanthos wanted to inspect the object, the only people who would have gotten anything off merely looking at the object would have been a psyker. She should have been able to detect if she was in the presence of another psyker.
Oh, well, he wasn't even in the presence of that thing.
Right, but he was saying you didn't even let me inspect it. The only people who would have gotten anything off of inspecting it would have been a psyker.
I mean,
And vision.
Well,
he would have. What he was looking
inspect
for
the
was like
goods.
he would have wanted to at least see what it looked like, because obviously he's heard stories or maybe seen an image or whatever, but he wanted to see it firsthand. Is more or less where that was going.
Rev is using his paranoia to be paranoid.
I know.
That the Tanthus is psychically inclined.
Yep. I got you. I know what he's doing.
Aight.
All right. So you got 5 profit factor from Andrymus, and she also says, unless you want to have another scene with her, what she basically insinuates is that next time you or yours comes through here, she'll be here to assist as needed and as she is able.
Good relations with the Inquisition.
So yeah, basically I relayed the information about the ships, but particularly I don't know if there was anything special about the shield. I think we just determined that it was a protective one.
It was just a straight up, like, if anything, it was probably just something they fabricated on the spot using part of their own void shields. Or, you know what I mean? Like, using some of their own void shield equipment, considering that, they were crashed or whatever. Or maybe they had done it before, cannibalizing another ship to bring the parts onto their own.
Yes. I say, my Lady Inquisitor, there is one more thing.
Yes, Lord Captain.
There was an object, a curious object out of black stone. It appeared to hold some psychic resonance.
The Nemelith.
And it is.
I'm sorry, that was out of character.
Yeah, the object that's only ever mentioned once in Warhammer lore and immediately tells you the entire plot of the story if you say the name of it aloud and look it up on the internet.
Oh, does it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went, nope, shouldn't be here, and closed the page. I was,
the way it's described in the book and the way I've heard it talked about in other playthroughs is that Nemelith was like a common thing. Or not common necessarily, but like a known thing. It wasn't like a secret or whatever.
Right. Well, from what I've, because it's the only place I've found it mentioned in the lore. The word Nemelith. Ever. And I was initially looking it up not because I wanted to be like, ooh, I want to find out the story of the campaign. I was looking it up because I was picking up on threads that I knew of Warhammer 40K lore and was like, this seems like it might be Blackstone related.
Yeah, I remember. Because you had said something about Blackstone a couple of times.
I did, and so I was curious, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh nope, that's behind the curtain. Don't need to be here. But
the joys of Rogue Trader having a lot of the older lore.
So, I guess then above the table, is this something that is a more common relic to the Rogue Trader, or is this something that is unusual and is, for our purposes, appears to be related to rumors of Blackstone type of technology?
I don't know what a good answer to that would be, except
come up with one that's official for our campaign. You have 30 seconds.
I mean, it's I was just gonna default it to like this is one of those like not commonly used methods of data transfer between like psychers and house navigators.
But it is a known method, so this is just like a
like it's a legit or whatever. It's just not necessarily known.
No. What I was going to say is it's like a USB thumbstick, except it's in type B+ and not A or C.
Sure.
So it's like, well, it's different, but it's not really. So yeah, if it was something that had been like unique and possibly related to Blackstone or Xenos Tech, I would be offering the Nemelith to the Inquisitor. But if you think it is more common and simply something that's just not as commonly used, then I would not be offering it as a gesture to the Inquisitor.
Beta, not VHS.
It's another way to transfer data that's not necessarily technology based. It's psychery based, so you probably wouldn't encounter it too often unless you were a psyker or a navigator.
Well, then I will save it for the psyker and the navigator aboard the ship. I would, if it was more of a Xenos Tech type of device, I was going to be offering it to the.
Yeah.
Now, did we get? We have yet to sell the jewels that we acquired. Oh, bit of a retcon here.
Okay.
One of the things that I would have offered is I would have said, This device was claimed by the Inquisition.
And this is what you're talking to Moros Tanthus about, right?
Right.
Okay.
I would say that our deal was that you got
First refusal.
you essentially got second pick,
Okay.
and that that device was taken in the first pick outside of my authority.
So he's left with the mundane jewels and gems.
And so he can take a selection. I have divided essentially the gems into shares, and in addition to the intelligence that would make him a wealthy man, he's entitled to a stack of gems as a share of the pick. I'm not going to force him to pick just like one gem.
Yeah, no, he's going to take like a handful of gems and stuff.
Right.
Or a barrel or a crate, whatever the case might be.
Right. Well, I don't. You
Yes,
described it
a
as
share.
Several chests. So
Yes.
I've divided it into
Yeah,
into
and
some
when
type of
there's
shares.
several chests, he's definitely taking a full chest for himself.
Yeah. And so my next question was going to be, do the profit factors that we've gotten here include those chests of gems, or do we now get to sell those chests of gems for additional profit factor?
I feel like at least part of that profit factor came from the gems on hand.
Okay. Just
I don't
clarifying.
remember if I specified that in my notes or with my intent of when I gave out specific numbers. So, but I feel like the gems and whatnot were included in that.
Okay. I'm not trying to double dip. I just want to.
Yeah. No, you just want full accountability, and that makes sense. It's totally understandable and reasonable. Speaking of full accountability, we have, I believe, next on the docket, a one-on-one showdown between somebody from the Tithes of Acheron and somebody from the Fell Hand.
Unless they're cowards and want to prove they're traitors to the Imperium.
You called him out. He doesn't have much choice because it wasn't just calling him out to his face where he could just tell you to fuck off and walk away. You called him out in front of everybody.
That was the idea.
Yes, I'm well aware. So he, after a handful of hours, makes his appearance at a let me find a model here that I can work with. Oh, perfect. Hopefully you guys can see that.
Failed to load model.
Of course. Well,
I can see it.
You know what?
Oh, I can see the model though.
I don't know what to tell you.
Pirate captain.
Yeah, that's Haderach Fell.
He's got a veil.
More like Haderach
and
fail.
boobs.
Okay, listen. I just chose the model because it was the closest thing I had. Okay.
There you go.
Let's see. Before I throw his card out there, who is he fighting? Because he has come himself.
Did he bring it second, as is typical for a duel?
He brought somebody to, relay to the rest of his house if he goes down, that somebody else gets to inherit an awful lot of bullshit. So yes, he's brought a second, for lack of a better thing to call him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call him an actual second, but he has a second person with him. And he's waiting for you guys out in, I guess he's just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll do it right here in the goddamn dockyard. There's plenty of room here. What you snacking on there, Darius? Did you bring enough for everybody? No. You only thought about yourself, didn't you?
Hell yeah. Think about yourself. Treat yourself.
So yeah, before I throw his weapon, or not his weapon, his stat block down, I will let you guys figure out who is going to face him in Mortal Kombat.
Well, our engine seer just slowly fades in the shadows, and you just see the red pinpricks of his eyes.
He's definitely Homer Simpson himself back into the bush. I'm surprised Reinhardt's not chomping at the bit.
Well, Reinhardt is going to barely contain his glee, but he's looking at the captain like, well, he came himself. Like, it could be you. but I'll go. Like, just tell me.
And so I'll turn to Master Jace and say, Master Jace, if this was a duel amongst the stars in a ship, or a quick draw competition with your hand cannon, I wouldn't hesitate to pick you. But I feel like in a no-holds-barred contest on what amounts to terra firma, the good armsman here is our best choice.
Oh, by all means. I'm sure he is.
And so I will say, Master Reinhardt, do you find yourself eager for combat?
Always ready, my lord. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm always ready for the action, my lord. Told
And
you
I
I
will
was a
say,
little fried.
and I will say, esteemed rogue trader Fell, to confirm the challenge at hand, the winner of the contest, or the side that wins the contest, will receive all the contents of the other ship, or the other side's ship and all that it entails.
Contents of that ship.
Warrant.
Yes.
Very well. And he draws his weapon. And first, let me throw this. Where is it? Where are you?
To make sure that our wagers, Lord Fell, are equal, the warrant of trade, your warrant of trade, is on board your flagship, is it not?
It is not. Only a foolish rogue trader takes their warrant of trade aboard their vessel that they use to ply the warp. And he laughs at you like you're a fool.
The warrant of trade is almost always on board the rogue trader's flagship.
He is also a scumbag.
Yes, he is a scumbag, and he doesn't want you to take his warrant of trade, so he's either lying or he's got it somewhere else.
Well then, we'll have to amend the wager.
I will stake the fell hand, the flagship of my command and my trade, my house, for that matter, against whatever you wish to put up in your stead. The contents of your ship certainly sounds appealing, so let's go with that.
The contents of each ship.
I want you to know, too, Borgadillo, that I will be selling every single one of your people to the crew.
Understood. The contents of the ship and the ships themselves, an assigned claim to your warrant of trade, as mine is on board my ship. That is an equal wager.
A claim that you may press should you find its location.
Merely a guarantee that once I do find it, it is mine. Should we prevail today, and should you, mine is yours.
Indeed. And he draws his best craft monosword. And says something to the effect of, "At thee then."
And I turn and I say, very well, my champion, as per the challenge, is the good Master Reinhardt here.
I will step forward.
He's expecting you to fight with sword, by the way. Now, having said that, if you choose to shoot him first, he will absolutely shoot you back.
I'm just visualizing that one
Indiana
movie.
Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't. To be clear, I never specified what type of weaponry was to be involved in the duel.
Sure. No,
I will-
he's drawn the sword because at this point, like, we're at close quarters.
So he's drawn the sword,
Uh-huh.
and I'll look pointedly at it, and then I'll quick draw my guns
Yeah.
and
I
give him
figured.
the chance to draw something ranged.
All right.
If he wants to charge me while I've given him the chance, that's up to him.
7
Pew, pew.
plus agility bonus is 10. Go ahead and roll your initiative there, Reinhardt.
I
Ye
will
of fate
spend
points.
a fate point to take 10 on that.
Okay, so that puts you at.
So that puts me at
Well, that's gonna put you at 10 plus your agility, right?
10 plus my agility
Yeah.
bonus of 5 plus 2 for being a weapons master. So 17.
Make your attack roll, sir. As he quickly sheathes his sword and starts moving to some form of local cover, like some fat crate nearby.
All right.
Kill him quick. We have other errands to run. And
Also,
and
as it looks like there's about to be a shooting duel taking place, there are about, 17 people scurrying about trying to get out of the line of sight.
All right.
So the jewels. How much of our profit factor would you say the jewels added up to?
Are we gonna do this now, or are
Yeah.
we gonna do
Yes.
the duel?
Okay.
Let's do the
This
duel.
is
and then
something. This is a question for you to be thinking about, Omar. While the
We'll,
duel's
I already.
happening.
It's gonna be like 1 or 2.
Okay.
So, first roll is gonna be for the hell gun
So,
at semi-auto.
point of fact, was he just threatening to press gang us all?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
Correction.
No.
He did
sell
not
us
threaten
as
to press
food.
gang shit. He said he was going to sell you to the crew. Period.
Yes.
I will note that myself, Reinhardt, and Rev are not on the ship.
But
That's
you're there
true,
in the
but
in
we
the
are
docks.
we are the crew. Anyways,
I'm there on the
because
docks with the
I have
captain.
I have that thing where if you try to take away my independence, I have to roll a willpower save or get violent.
Okay.
well,
Let's.
that'll happen if I
Are we
lose.
there yet?
That'll happen if I lose.
Okay,
Which
because
we'll see.
I'm gonna give you a buy right now, just because you know the situation and it's like it's well out of line for you to step in right now. This is a nobles duel. And now, if Reinhardt loses, then absolutely you're about to lose your independence, and absolutely your
okay,
willpower
yeah,
comes into play.
yeah. I was gonna say, I'd shoot him in the back if I had to.
Yeah.
So
That's a
anyway,
78. I think that's going
it
to
is
be
a 78 of under my 99, which is fine.
Okay. All right. I see. What
Did you want the plus 10 for that, or are you banking it for some other?
78 is 87.
I didn't figure I'd get it since this is a one-on-one
Okay.
duel.
Left leg is 5. What's the damage on that?
The damage on that, with the extra hit, that's going to be 2d10. Okay, let me roll that. So, what
And in
happened?
fact, while we're
There we go.
in this fight,
So the
let me go ahead
first D10 is a mere 1.
Okay. That does
So
not
that's
sound good.
plus 6. That's 7 damage with 7 pen.
Okay. So that was your hell gun on burst or something?
That's the first shot out of the hell gun.
Okay.
The second is a 9 plus 7, so 16 pen 7.
16 total?
No. Those are 2 separate
Oh, yeah.
blasts.
Okay. All right.
Because it's semi-auto.
Son of a bitch. I forgot about pen, so now I got to rethink what I was about to do. All right, so the first one was 1 damage plus 6?
It was 7 damage, pen 7.
Pen 7. Okay. 7. And then
the second was 16 pen 7.
I had a pen over here, and it's gone. So now I can't find my pen that I was keeping all my notes.
You go on the floor?
It looks like it went somewhere. I needed writing.
Would you like to borrow mine?
No, I can't
Very
borrow
funny.
yours. Go ahead and throw it in. I'm not gonna be able to. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Good luck.
Hang on one second there, guys. Give me a quick second. What?
Can you get it?
No, I'm.
Hey, there's this app called Notepad.
Yes, I know. Okay, first one. One more time. So it was pen 7.
7 pen 7.
7 damage, and then the second one was also
16 pen 7.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the plasma gun will go.
Yeah. So this is going to be very interesting, especially since I lost initiative and I don't have fate points. But I'm about to give him at least 1 fate point for shits and giggles because I want to be able to at least shoot you once. God damn it.
Yep, I get
and
it.
And Omar,
Yeah.
I did give him a +10. Are you going to allow my free action of inspiration to count since it's not a combat roll?
Hold on, Rev. Hold the fuck on, man. That's too much, man. Just slow down for a second here. I got to figure out damage math, and my brain's not working right. Okay. So pen 7. So that's 7. 23. Fuck. Don't even. God damn it. It doesn't matter. He's dead. He fucking severed his leg on the first shot alone. No, he's not dead. I forgot his fucking toughness. What is his toughness? 4. So 7, 3 damage. And then that is 11 damage. That means it's 8. No. Hold on. Oh, cool. Everybody's seeing all the crazy math I'm trying to do now. That's amazing. Because I forgot what I was using. Anyway. And then...
For a second, I was picturing the algebraic equation flying above your head.
They really are flying around my head right now. Okay. Yeah, so... okay. The first round's just basically turns his leg into ground hamburger. The second round hits somewhere else, making that into hamburger as well. And now you're about to hell plasma gun him?
I'm about to plasma gun him.
Okay.
Because it's all technically 1 attack.
Yes. Go ahead and...
requires 2 attack rolls.
Yeah. Go ahead and add the 10 to this roll. So that's 80 versus whatever plus 10.
Yeah, that would have been 80 against 109. So
that's 2 degrees of success.
okay, that's gonna be 3 attacks then, because it's full auto. This one does 1d10 plus 7 pen 6.
Okay, well, his armor's negated.
So first dice.
It's like 15
so that's
or something.
16.
Yeah. We don't even have to finish rolling. Whatever's left of him slumps to the ground, slides several feet into a bulkhead, and stops. Blood just pouring, bubbling out everywhere.
Are you going to give him at least 1 shot?
As he's laying there dying, about to, expire, he managed to lift his bolt pistol up at you.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Yes.
For narration.
Rev. Yes, Rev.
He's dying.
Yes.
Have him shoot at me.
You know what? Fuck it. Why not? Just because he's an asshole.
He's a slime.
Yeah. He lifts his bolt pistol with a red dot laser sight. Which I'm not sure. What does that do? The red dot gives him what, like a plus 10
single
to hit?
shot. Plus 10 to single shot.
Plus 10 to single shot.
Okay, so yeah. He lifts it, and we get like the camera zooms in on him as it shakes a little bit as he's trying to line up his shot. And he finally gets it. Let's see, 42, 52. I imagine you are within 30 meters. No, was it half the range is short range?
I'm sure that he's
So
inside that.
I would have to be under 15 meters for it to be that.
Okay. Well, I'll just give him the plus 10, plus 20, half action aim, single shot. Yeah, so it's gonna be plus 20, and then 62 is what I need. I'm gonna fate point it. His only fate point that he has. No, wait, no, I don't. Wait, did that not roll?
You clicked the roll button too quickly. It canceled.
I didn't think that was gonna happen like that. Well, fate point is spent with a 21 or 20, so that's well, it's a single shot, so it doesn't matter. So that's gonna be 1d10 plus 5, pen 4. It's tearing. Yep, it is tearing. So 1d10 plus 5.
So the first
Well,
check.
you roll 2d10 and take the better of the two.
Yeah,
so,
yep. And I
Before
don't
we
want your
even get to that, the
Uh-huh.
first check is to see if it penetrates my shield.
motherfucker. Did I give you a shield? I don't remember giving you a shield.
I have a force field that I purchased myself. Thank you very much.
All right, what do I got to roll to get through that thing?
I have to roll to see if it deflects it. It's basically a 50-50 chance. Let
Okay.
me double check the rules.
That's why you were
It's
like,
not
have him
nearly
shoot
as
me.
nice
Have
as
him shoot
Jace.
me. That's why you said that, you son of a bitch.
Well, I also have dodge and
Well, you can only choose one of those actions right now.
I
the
too
shield. The shield is not an action.
have dodge.
Dodge is my action.
Well, shit, he's got dodge too. He should have used that, but whatever.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. It was more
But also,
narrative.
if he hits me anywhere but my head, I have 12 points of damage negation.
Anyway, roll your shieldy thingy.
Let me. That PDF got closed. It's
Which
the main
one is
book.
it?
It's the End of the Storm.
Yeah. The
Um,
conversion?
yeah, conversion field. If you have it up.
All right.
I'm
the
pretty sure I roll a
conversion
D100.
field is 50. So
I
it's
was gonna say I roll a D100, and if I roll below 50, it blocks it. If I roll below 10, it blocks it but shorts out my field. If I roll above
Correct.
50, I have to either dodge it or eat it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, now you have to dodge it.
Okay. Now I am unfamiliar with the exact rules on dodge.
It's a skill roll.
Yep.
I know it's a skill roll, and it's off of agility, is it not?
Yeah, it's your
Yes.
agility, and I believe it is I want to say it's a basic skill.
No, but I have dodge trained.
Okay,
Dodge is a basic skill
so you get it
if
at
you
your
get
full.
a certain background.
Oh well, I chose to have to.
If
take
you
that
got
as
it
one
at
of
the
my
trained
levels.
level, then you got it at the full level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if it's a basic skill, does that mean that you don't get halved if you try to use it, or just
No,
that means
if it's a
No,
basic
you-
skill,
you-
you get it at half until
some of
it's
that
at
still
the trained
confuses
level.
me? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
So I'll be just rolling against straight agility.
Correct.
Correct.
I'm gonna fate that, like add a +10 to it.
Well, you didn't need to.
I didn't, but I did anyway.
dodged.
So I
Bullets
basically
go wide. Somebody screams in the background.
Can I say for narrative, like it sparks on the shield, and that gives me enough time to take the reaction to
Sure. Why
to
not?
dodge.
He dies by the time his hand drops up to the ground because of gravity, and he dies horrifically, eviscerated by plasma and bolter fire, or whatever the fuck it was that Reinhardt shot him with.
I walk over and I pick up his bolter and his sword.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he didn't really have much else on his little card deal there. Unless you want the Enforcer like Carapace.
Enforcer?
He did have Enforcer like Carapace. It's got several holes and a lot of bloodstains on it right now. In other words, you could easily fix it up by GM waving his hands, but yeah.
Yeah, well, frankly, unless Althurios, what kind of armor are you wearing?
I'm already wearing Carapace. Don't worry about it.
That's what I thought. I was like, this is pretty much a downgrade for anybody on the crew. We even got Carapace for winter.
Yeah.
It's not what she started with.
Correct.
Right. Tell you what, let's take the armor. We're at some point we're gonna have a new seneschal, and he may have terrible equipment.
We'll keep it as backup stash.
I mean, for me, it would be both an upgrade and a downgrade.
How does that work?
Well, it's not void armor.
Ah. But it's better. It has more armor than your void suit.
But it has one higher than my void suit.
Yeah.
I say the void suit's more useful.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
I would agree so too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rev, what do you want to do? You've killed Haderach Fell. His second is standing there going, "Oh, well, that didn't go very well at all."
Can we shoot him
Uh,
too?
You can.
I
Nobody's
will
gonna
walk up
stop
to.
you.
I will walk up to his second and say, "What is your name and station, sir?"
I am the. Oh God, what's a title? Oh, he's the chief of the boat of the Fell Hand.
So he's the captain.
No, he's the chief of the boat. He would be like the senior enlisted person.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if that position is specifically noted in the books, but whatever that is, that's his title.
he's like the bosun,
Sure, yeah, let's go with that.
something like that.
The bosun is a title in the books.
Yes, it is. And his name is Josiah Fell, a
Oh
distant
my.
cousin.
A distant cousin.
Not, unfortunately, not in. He says this in a. It's not quite a matter of factly, but definitely a nonchalant. Like, unfortunately, nowhere near the line of succession. Although, and then as soon as he says that, he's like, "Ooh, maybe actually it's a really good thing that it's not in the line of succession." As he eyeballs you, wondering if he's about to be held out for death.
Well, Josiah fell.
I would walk up to the corpse of Fell and pull off the signet ring, walk over to the Lord Captain and present it to him.
Yes. I'm also holding in my hand the document that, in addition to that basically that I had Fell sign, that basically says, in addition to owning his ship, I am now have a claim to his warrant of trade.
Yeah,
If you can find it.
I don't know where that is. It's not on the ship. He took it off after we arrived here.
Oh, that's what the.
Nice.
That's what the bosun is saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, cousin Fell.
It's so weird for you to call me cousin.
We are a part of the same rogue trader family now, are we not? With me being the rightful heir.
I don't think your idea of family and my idea of family are quite in alignment.
Well, they may be more than you think. Tell me, who are the immediate heirs of the Fell family? Besides myself, of course.
Matthias is the new head of House Fell, as far as anybody in the House of Fell would be.
And yes, and Matthias. Does Matthias have a sister?
Let's do the old school even odd thing. Even is yes. Oh, I didn't mean to roll 2. Turns out, no, he doesn't.
What a shame.
In fact, he's an only child.
Oh, convenient.
With no children of his own.
Yes.
In fact, that would if something were to happen to him, I really should not be telling you this. But if something were to happen to him, Neville becomes this would be his first cousin from his mother, I think. It gets a little weird in some parts of the tree, but Neville would assume ascendancy.
Yes, well, who would be
Fell sounds hilarious.
Neville? Is he the patriarch or the what's considered the head of your side of the
No, I am on the father's side.
Oh, so it's a different cousin side. It's a different.
Yeah, so
okay.
Before I get myself
big family, yo.
Before I get myself too deep into this, so Matthias, who's now in charge, is maternal
Matthias
cousin.
Who's claiming to be in charge.
Listen,
I have a document.
Listen. I don't have the bandwidth right now. Matthias, maternal cousin, current head. Neville, number 2, paternal cousin, and then there's this guy Josiah, who is like the son of the third son of who would be the son of the third brother of Haderach.
But paternal or maternal?
Don't.
Cousin.
You just confused me far more than I thought you could do. And I don't have anything to write down. I don't know why my pens and pencils are gone.
what I'm trying to clarify. So you're saying that the cousin I'm speaking with, Josiah,
Mm-hmm.
is not on the same side of the family as Neville.
Hang on. Just
He'd be on Matthias' side based on what you said.
so there was. Hold on. I gotta put this together myself. So.
Well, he
Haderach-
said I shouldn't be telling you this, which means it sounds like it's
Well,
closer related to
he
him.
shouldn't be telling you this because he's giving away family secrets and shit. Fuck me. You know what? I'm not even. I was gonna try to do something, but I can't even keep it straight in my own fucking head now. You're looking
Okay.
at the new number 2 of House Fell, Josiah. And in
Okay.
fact, at some point, he's like, "Okay, you know what? I can't even keep this bullshit straight. Matthias is the head. If he dies, I take over." Except, I feel like you're about to claim some bullshit on this, and he doesn't say bullshit. I am.
Okay. Well, Matthias, for the foreseeable future, as a officer on board the ship that is now mine, you're currently going to be a guest on board my ship until we get this all sorted out.
Warding, yes, got it.
Um,
Will I at least
and-
be able to go get my Shea Lounge and my fuzzy slippers?
A great deal of amenities will be provided to you aboard ship. Don't
Yes,
worry.
but these are my fuzzy slippers, not to be confused with Matthias's.
Well, I'm sure when I go to claim the ship and all of its contents, those objects will be retrieved. And we'll be happy to retrieve them for you. And I make it very clear to, as he's being brought on board the ship, I make it very clear to the Seneschal that he is an extremely honored guest. And while no command authority, he is to be treated as if all of his requests that are reasonable are to be fulfilled as best possible. He is wined and dined is the direction I'm going for.
Wined and dined, but otherwise confined to his wine, dined and confined is what
There
I'm
you
getting.
go.
Yeah.
But I do make one slightly sadistic request. I say,
Of course.
I do believe, and I say, Acheron, I believe a certain servitor will be required to make sure all of his cleaning needs are met.
I was just about to ask you if I could, if there's enough for him to be Borged.
Well, we're not
What?
we're not turning this fell into a servitor.
I think he was referring to Haderach.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's. Ooh. I don't know. He's dead.
He doesn't need to be alive. At least
No.
I thought.
I think you need at least some sort of living material there.
necrotized tissue within reason can still, if it can have juice pumped back into the brain, there's a reason that they're able to turn people into skull servitors when they die.
All right, this got a little more gruesome than I thought it would be. I guess you're going to lobotomize and servitorize Haderach Fell himself, you sick sons of bitches.
I'm
al-
also taking out both of his eyes.
Of course you are.
Well, there was that whole thing about being given over to the Crute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously,
Reinhardt's
I
taking
had to
this
talk
all-
shit to the player characters to get them motivated. I'm just sitting there going, wow, this guy... Listen, when I set this episode up, I basically thought there'd be a handful of, like, wheeling and dealing, maybe some acquisition rolls, and then you guys would be off to the warp again. No, we're fucking having full-on murder contests, and now we're lobotomizing and servitorizing and removing eyeballs, because fuck you, that's why.
Would you like to know a secret, Omar?
For two.
Sure.
I may have given you a preview of what was to come this week because I was already planning on a challenge.
Don't remember now, but sure.
I may have thrown all of the negotiations between the prince and the inquisitor at you to give
As a
you something to be
distraction?
thinking as a distraction, somewhat of a distraction.
Yeah. No worries. No worries.
Says the
So
GM
suddenly your
with
big
a particular tone.
yeah. So
Hey,
your
above
next
the
major
table-
challenge is not going to be orcs anymore. That's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, like,
Above the table,
revelation
please.
that Rev has all that shit means that the combat we're having is probably too easy.
I mean, had you guys fought Haderach Fell in like the first couple sessions, this round or this
Oh
fight
yeah,
might have
that'd
been a
have
bit
been
different.
a problem. That would have been a major.
You guys see
problem.
his stats. I didn't take a stat card off the table. Like, you see what he's got. Like, he probably could have held his own at least for a couple of rounds instead of going down like a chump.
Well, the funny thing is, I've actually sort of been putting some quiet points into weapon skill. I may have fake protested getting oh no, not a master crafted sword. But if he's only got a mono sword, the first parry and his sword is gone.
Yeah.
If he was fighting me.
I don't know if you noticed.
Well,
when
he
I
could
said
just
best
choose to
crafted
take a
mono sword, I
dodge.
was fully expecting to have a little bit more words in the title or name of his weapon. But I was like, nope, that's just a mono sword. It's a really good one, but it's just a sword.
Best crafted, it would have given him a +10 to his weapon skill. If he'd have charged me, he could have charged me.
He could have,
And
but I
I
figured
do
if you were
have
pulling out the guns, I
acrobatics.
might as well pull out the guns because he had some
Yeah.
semblance of fairness despite his previous claims. And
Well,
also, he was a dirtbag.
I did tell you specifically that I looked at my guns and then looked to him to give him the opportunity. So
Yeah. All right, Rev, what's next? As fuck, I forgot his name already. Josiah Fell is led off to his
Yes.
stateroom of, his wine, dine, and confined.
an incredibly comfortable prison.
Yeah, really.
So to give Josiah a little hint of concern in his whining and dining, before he is escorted away, I say the contents of the body are to be kept on board the ship, but engine seer, the body itself is yours. And I want a bit of a scene where his servitors and servo skulls drag away this body with a bloody smear into the dark depths of the ship.
That's exactly what we get. And then as the camera watches Haderach Fell's body being pulled away, it does a slow narrow in on the previous Fell. And we see at some sort of marking indicating him as that one guy as opposed to whatever the other one was.
I thought we welded the rank tab onto him.
I don't remember what we did. I know we'd left something on him.
Yes.
But also that's so.
And also, while this is happening, of course, as Josiah puts one and one together and comes up with a bunch of dead fells around him, there is a look of absolute shock and dismay. And you see whatever moments of hope that he had dissipate like smoke in the wind.
As I walk back towards the captain, I'm just going to say, I do hope the Lady Inquisitor was watching that. She's an impressive lady, and I'd like her to be impressed with me.
You look
as
up at
well.
the alcove, and all you see at this point is the last of her staff following in behind her.
One second. Real life.
Pardon me for that.
No worries.
Since Zakaros was on a pirate ship, he would have probably seen some pretty gruesome shit. Next time you see him, there'll be a talisman of a pair of eyes and a pair of ears.
Now, are they like? Do you have them
and
like?
The Haderach servitor
Yeah.
has 2 artificial hearing units and 2 ruby red oculators staring at these.
Now, these 2 ears and eyes that you have taken off of him, are they in some sort of container that you wear around your neck or something, or?
No, they're basically crudely pinned to rope, and when they rot, and he'll discard it. But it's a little.
So this is a war trophy for now, and then eventually.
This is a little last bit of degradation.
Yeah.
Can it have a little small tag on it in Mechanicus runic script that say the flesh is weak?
Yeah.
All right. What's next? I'm almost afraid to fucking ask.
I go and I challenge. No, I'm kidding.
So we are now going and slaughtering everybody on the station.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. That's a good way to get
I think you
real
find I don't know how
problems.
many Skitaris that suddenly appear from nowhere. Some random Xenos jump in just because they're like, oh, we get to kill Hubies now.
We detach from the station, and I give the order: arm the bioweapon. No.
How much shenanigans can we get up to before you start getting in trouble, Rev?
Well, I'm legitimate about the whining and dining. I simply wanted.
Oh, I was. Oh man, I was actually hoping you were gonna plug a round in the back of this kid's head.
Not yet. For now, he is literally being, aside from that moment of panic of realizing that 2 important members of the House of Fel have both been dispatched by me.
Yeah.
Or mine. And to be fair, I did kerblooey the other Fel guy.
Well, I know somebody killed him. I don't remember who.
Well,
I think it was
killed.
Or maybe
I killed
he
a bunch of
captured,
members. I ordered him killed at the very least, but he was.
Remember that much.
Actually, technically, Icarus killed him because I had him servitorized alive.
Yeah, I think so. And you left the other one alive to go and tell Haderach fell and deliver the message.
And Haderach got so angry he killed him. So
yeah,
circle closed.
Yeah. You don't know that, but yeah.
So I imagine that we proceed to go over. I'm probably going to get some additional signings from Haderach confirming the validity of my claim.
Well, Haderach can't sign shit. He's dead.
Yeah,
Not Haderach, excuse me. Josiah.
He's in no position. I mean, he can sign stuff all day long. It doesn't mean anything. He's not the head of household.
He's not the head of the household, I'm aware, but he's simply signing off on the validity, saying, yes,
I got you.
I witnessed this. It's legitimate.
He's signing the affidavits that you're about to send off.
Sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he was there for the duel and everything else, yeah.
Right. He was the second. That's part of his job.
Yep.
And so that he can't welsh on it or lie about it, he's staying on board my ship as a valued guest until such time as I see fit.
Yep. Okay.
Also, because I don't have the warrant of trade that was part of the agreement in hand, he may not be personally aware of it, but he could provide further use in finding it at some later date.
Yeah.
So, the next step would be to go to Fel's ship and present our claims.
I think we get something of a collage of shots of you guys, you and your entourage of whoever you're bringing, along with, of course, Josiah Fel, in, not really in chains, but obviously in captivity, based on body language and positioning and whatnot. And you go over to the Fel hand. There's a person claiming to be the next best thing to the XO of the ship, while Fel is off ship. Obviously, by this point, he's received notice that he's now effectively the captain of the ship. Based on the simple fact that the previous captain is now dead. And he...
Acting captain, at least.
Yeah, he very coldly accepts your arrival, recognizes your appointment over him, and does only the absolute bare minimum of what is required of him and was told of him to do. Like, there's no fire, motivation, oomph behind it.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do, let me clarify, when we're meeting. The first thing I'm going to do is say, I'm aware this is an unfortunate circumstance, and oftentimes the people involved in such circumstances are worse for wear. For example, Master Fell already threatened, the late Master Fell already threatened to feed my crew to the Croots when he won as an act of
Josiah is one of those.
spite.
Point of fact, he said sell you to the crew, not feed you.
That is what they call a point without distinction.
He does one of these. He's like, but am I wrong? I think at this point it's like, listen, we could split this hair for a hot minute.
And I was going to say, I have no intention of selling you. As a matter of fact,
Yeah, I really kicked over a hornet's nest when I said I was going to sell you guys to the crew, didn't I?
Well, you opened it up to how cruel he was,
Yeah.
and also the chance for me to point out that I do not intend to be a cruel master, and that alone in and of itself, the removal of some of the fear and a promise of something the closest thing in the Warhammer 40K universe to fair treatment engenders a loyalty all of its own.
Yeah. And you're starting to see a shift because as the newly appointed captain realizes everything with your opening remarks, there are a number of, let's say, junior lieutenants and senior enlisted that are all looking at him like he is a dried out piece of meat ready to be removed from the store shelves.
I will get on the PA, or what amounts to
It's the Vox.
a Vox. I will get
Yes.
on the. I will
Well,
get
a
on
Vox
the
caster, I should say.
I will get on the intraship Vox.
The intro Vox.
Why do you keep leaning on the hailer so much?
The loud hailer. That's what it's called.
And I will say to the crew, oh, by the way, did any of, this is a backup a little bit here, I apologize.
Uh-huh.
Was there any collateral damage during the duel? I don't think he missed a single shot.
Reinhardt didn't miss. That's for sure.
Okay.
He fired off a couple of shots. I mean,
He fired
narratively,
or
mechanically, it was a single shot. Narratively, it was probably like 2 or 3 shots, but
okay.
probably
Now,
smacked some random ass bulkhead, but didn't really cause problems.
okay. I apologize for
Except
this
for some
crew.
groundskeeper who now has to go out there and fix
I
it.
am taking 1 profit factor's worth of those jewels,
Uh-huh.
and I'm having them delivered additionally to the Regent's office.
Okay.
And I am saying my apologies for any disruption of cargo and any potential damage that a stray round or two might have done to the bulkhead. This is my means of an apology for now. And I say I look forward to doing business with you in the future. And so I guess let's knock that profit factor down to 53. I apologize, guys, but I feel
58.
like
58.
And I've already adjusted it.
58.
Yep. I get it.
I mean, like, what is it even used for? I kind of.
It's used for acquisition rolls, and to some degree,
And I
there's
was
like 1 or 2
hoping
other
to make
things.
one sometime tonight.
Yeah, well,
Right,
Rev has a
that's-
case of long-windedness.
Yes, well, what time is it now? I got
It's
called away.
quarter
from my
after
computer.
9, so we can go like. Let's summarize what happens with this ship.
Okay, well let me
So-
I have a little more narrative for the shipwise.
Okay.
I'm essentially going to be corpse starch is the best that the lower decks can hope for.
Yeah.
I am going to, in my speech, talk about that fairness and civility and general order will be the new rule of the ship. I have no intention to rule the ship with fear, that this ship is now under my protection and I reserve fear for my enemies.
Okay.
And furthermore, I reward my allies I'm inviting the on the intercom. I say that whatever I'm probably some type of sawdust bread. Whatever the next step above corpse starch is going to be made in bulk delivery for the members of the ship as a celebration because of
I think
this
somewhere in the background, somebody's like, "Real bread? Is he talking about real bread?" And it just starts a riot. And over the course of the next few hours, there are a number. Well, let's just say over the next day or two, there are a number of, let's call them, former Haderach associates that are found dead, and a few, in fact, that are missing and will never be seen. The ship is yours, says the following day. The ship is yours, Lord Captain, says some former lieutenant commander equivalent rank.
yes.
And
Very
is
good.
the previous XO anywhere to be seen?
Nope. Not at all.
Loyalists equal gone.
Yes. End state.
Fucking Tories.
Loyalists are gone. Some of them have been turned into corpse starch.
Yes. I will ask the remaining officers for any intelligence because obviously a warrant of trade is a massive object.
Yes. Well, that and like regardless of the size, it's there's so much prestige on it that it's difficult to move one subtly.
Well, not only that, but just to clear you up on the lore bit of that, typically a warrant of trade is such a massive thing that the ship has to be partially disassembled to remove it. So I'm really curious how he got it off the ship.
Well, you
It
see,
was in a
Lord
very
Captain.
bad state of repair.
Well, you
We're
see,
going to
Lord
call it a
Captain,
very
there is a
large hole.
massive hole on the hindquarters of this ship. A
Okay.
shuttle came in with a sky crane, or the 40K equivalent, lifted the fucker out of the hold and took off into another ship that later that day left into the warp.
Okay.
And then anybody that knew the name of that ship was sworn to secrecy, and also they ended up as either corpse starch or just bloody smears on the
Well,
ground.
they may have sworn to secrecy and everything, but when a ship enters a system, especially a system that has to worry about pirates, it's required to log its presence.
Yeah.
So, as current master of footfall, undisputed with no one else to claim the title,
as the current master of footfall, undisputed, this information is available to you.
By the de jure, not the de facto.
Yes. The information you get is that it was the Black Rose, a ship known to be one of House
obviously.
Fells. It is a ship of similar size, stature, and combat capability to your own.
Oh, you mean my new ship?
No, the sword frigate one that you've been running around in the Acheron's ferry that you're not giving up because this fell hand is still in a incredible state of disrepair. It went into the warp and like basically caught on fire for 3 months.
Ooh. What are we going to rechristen the ship?
The Flame of Fell? I don't know.
No. I'll think on it. Let me see if anything comes to me very quickly. I'll think on it while we're doing acquisition rolls because I feel like any further role play, due to the fact that my crew would like to get an acquisition rolls, should happen sometime around now.
All right. Acquisition rolls. Your target number is 58, plus or minus whatever bullshit you're looking for.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going to point out assault las rifles to the order of about 2,000, or smaller if you only want to have your primary team equipped.
Well, for a future role playing thing, the mono sword, my extra power sword, my regular normal crafted power sword, this set of enforcer armor, redecorated of course and repaired.
Yes, you put the rose insignia of House Fell, and you turn it all red, like blood red, and upside down. I got you. I know how to vandalize sigilry.
Less of a vandalism and more of a total replacement.
Okay.
More of a popping the welds and pulling off.
Okay.
To make it something that would be worn by a respected member of the ship.
Yes. Okay.
These are items that are going to be gifted to the command staff of our elite squads.
Okay. So
Now,
that would
I
be
believe
Lieutenant Cassian Anders, or
Yes.
something
this
like that.
bolt pistol with red dot. Can you
Mhm.
give me any more information about that? What is it? Is it normal crafted? I'm assuming best crafted. If
It's a
being
best
owned by a
crafted
rogue-
red dot bolt pistol.
Okay.
There's nothing special about it though.
Okay, well that one's going into my bandolier.
You're not going to give
Unless
that
anyone
to
else.
Cassian Anders, so he has a bolt pistol.
No, I am not, because
Okay.
Because
Cassian
Revenant's
Anders,
best act.
somewhere that night, Cassian Anders, in his personal quarters before going to bed, has to wipe away a single tear.
I am gifting him my power sword.
That's great. He can't shoot an orc from 30 meters away with a power sword.
Sure
No.
he can. He just has to throw it.
Listen,
Okay.
it's fine. I'm fucking with you more than anything else. Do what you're gonna do.
Right. So,
I
but I already
just
have.
wanted to make him a dramatic whiny bitch for a moment.
I'm pretty sure I already have a best
Yay.
crafted bolt pistol. So this is my second. But it has a red dot on it, so.
Yeah.
And one of my soon to be taken upgrades is oh, I forget what it's called. It essentially it's similar to what Reinhardt's character has, that allows him to fire two weapons, a weapon from each hand.
Dual wield.
Ambidextrous and 2-weapon wielder.
I also have Gunslinger that boosts that further. That's the one that I'm going to be taking.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's like the next up from ambidextrous, if I'm not mistaken. All right.
It's actually a step above two-weapon wielder that basically negates any
Yeah.
penalties.
What are
Anyway.
we doing with acquisition rolls? Let's stay on focus here.
Yes,
Sorry-
I would
sorry.
like a single best crafted light power armor.
Where are acquisition rolls? Let's see.
I think I have some notes on that. Have you figured out what
So,
the table
The
for that
light
is?
power armor is very rare, so that's a -20.
Okay.
Best crafted is another -30, so we're at -50 so far.
Yep, you're looking at an 8.
Yep, plus 30 for a single
Yep, 38.
thing of it.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend a fate point for a +1.
Or you mean
So
plus
back to
10?
a
Plus
48.
10.
Yeah, +10. Yes.
48.
Yes. Back to a 48.
All right, go ahead and make your roll.
I'd fail
Okay.
that roll.
He did fail that roll. You want to spend
And
a
I'm
fate
going
point
to spend another fate point to re-roll it.
All right.
But I'm going to give it the 20 count because I don't want it to be 62 again.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to roll a 61.
And
That is
Damn
a
it.
fail as well.
no light power armor for me.
All right, Icarus or Jace? What are you guys going for?
I have Jace go. I'm still looking.
I would like a best conversion field lock pattern.
How many shields and fields are you going for?
I think that you're gonna get that. Just
Which let's see. Well, the conversion shields and stuff are in the into the storm, are they not?
they are. The lock pattern conversion field is extremely rare.
Okay.
So that's going to be a -30. And then best craftsmanship is another -30. So you're at -2. And then single will put you back up to 28.
What's he need? I'm sorry, I was looking at something. He needs 28. Is that the last number I heard?
Unless he spends a fate point, then he needs a 38
Okay.
or lower.
Which
Yeah.
I would.
All right, so 38.
Where is it at in this book? Oh, is
you
it
looking-
in the into the
It's in Into the Storm.
Yeah.
wrong book?
The PDF page is 131 by a PDF reader, but 130 by the number at the bottom of the page. table 3-9 fields.
Yep.
Conversion field, extremely rare.
Okay. And that's the 50/50 one.
Yes.
Well, it's 50/50. If you go best crafted, that changes, I think.
Oh, it does?
No, it does not.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, it's the 10. It's the 10.
It's the
it's
overload
10 to 12.
goes down to 1.
Right.
Right.
So instead of
what would my
1 to
thing
10,
be for
it goes
good
down to just 1.
crafted?
Okay, good craft is
10 points of difference?
Good
yeah,
craft is
minus
minus
10
10.
instead of a minus 30. And that gives you a 1 to 5 instead of a 1 to 10.
Right.
So you'd
Minus
be going up
10
20.
instead of minus 30.
So you'd be at 48
yeah.
or less.
Yeah, 48 or less.
48 and then 58 with
58
the
with a fate point, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more doable.
It do indeed.
The other thing I was thinking about getting was a crystal. Does anybody know what the rarity of that is offhand?
Where's it
It's
listed?
not as rare, but the last time that you brought that up, Winter or Rodance brought up that it, as long as Winter is in the party, it's going to be lighting up by detecting her.
Oh,
Yes.
so
But
that,
when I'm
that
not
would,
around her,
Is when it would be useful, just to make sure that we're on the same page.
what it's basically
Yeah.
a side detector sort of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a crystal that essentially vibrates when there's psionics nearby.
Gotcha.
That's a much lower roll. Sorry, did you lose? You remember that table that I had made for everybody? Do you still have that handy?
I've got it.
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll send you another copy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about because you sent it in my Discord, or not my Discord, but DM me.
Yeah. I DM'd it to everybody just so that it would.
Thought I
be
pinned
Here it
useful
is,
for everybody.
crystal. Near unique.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's gonna be.
but there's no
Huge.
crafting. It's just
Oh.
common.
Near
just
unique is
Near unique is minus 50.
yeah, minus 50, but common is 0. So yeah,
But
so that's
then negligible.
8, and then 18
'Cause
for
Getting just one of them is negligible.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
you're
plus
right.
30.
Yep,
So
yeah.
it balances out to a minus 20.
Yep. So that would be 38, 48 with a fate versus the 58 with a fate for the field. I think.
Damn.
I think is what we came up with. I don't trust my short-term memory anymore.
Oh, it glows. Sorry, it doesn't vibrate. It glows. Yeah. And it's only when psychic powers are being actively used by an individual within a short distance.
Oh,
of
so it's
5
not
meters.
just a psyker; it's psychic activity.
Psychic
Right.
powers are being used, is the word.
Just because I've forgotten where it was while they're deciding on that, Warner, could you look up the rules for putting a modification on something for me?
Yeah.
I know you know
I
where
can
that
do
is
that.
better than I do.
All right, what are you gonna roll for, Jace?
Let's go for the thing that'll keep me alive, the conversion field.
Okay.
So that should be a 58,
Yeah,
right?
58, 58 with a fate point.
Yep.
52. You now have
That
a
does it.
conversion field thingy and a shield, the shield emitter of your old house sigil, rather.
Yes, but that's just for the front, whereas this is 360.
Yeah, basically. All right, Icarus, I believe you're next.
Yeah.
are you going for?
I will go for a
I want a cyber skull, not cyber skull,
gonna say-
serval skull made out of rubies.
The thought of getting yet another Silver Skull did cross my mind.
I know it did.
Um,
I know it did.
however, this time I think we'll be going for our combat servitor.
Oh, yes. All right, before we open up that can of worms, I believe I'd made some agreements or something in the past. What roles are we looking at for a combat servitor?
It
Well,
is
officially,
it is
go ahead.
rare.
Okay. We're on
Now,
football.
here-
and
was-
I would be
Go ahead.
willing to get the servitor separate from the equipment and roll on equipment later if that was more agreeable.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think that was what we ended up deciding we would do.
No, it was what I was trying to pitch for when you're like, no, I'll give you this role that's a little bit harder to get, but it would come
Oh,
with
I was going to
with
make
the
it like
gear you wanted.
another -10, but you get the full combat servitor if you make it. Was that
Well, that's what I was
trying to do?
arguing for, and then you made it worse, and it didn't. We failed.
The
It's
the
not important.
combining acquisitions rule is on page 271,
Thank you.
and it says that you take all of the items that you're trying to combine, you go with the worst availability modifier, so the greatest penalty, and then you add an additional -5 penalty for each additional component.
Oh, you're talking for like if you wanted to get a weapon with a modifier thingy on it.
Yeah.
Or a
so
servitor with
Or
a
servitor
weapon
with combat equipment. Yeah.
Right, I was
that
trying to argue
weapon,
along those rules. and
Yeah.
you would find the worse, because all of the weapons are going to be worse than rare. So
Yeah,
you would go with the weapon penalty, and then you
I'm
would
assuming-
add -5 for the servitor and -5 for the next or whatever.
Now, what page did you say? I didn't catch it.
271. Well, PDF
That's
272 is what I've got.
Yeah, PDF 272. The page at the bottom is 271.
Wait,
Alright.
272?
we could
Oh.
slap a storm bolter on that thing.
Oh my
Well, I was going to suggest it literally can fit a heavy bolter.
Yeah.
And also, heavy bolter combat servitors are not terribly uncommon insofar as like, I need an army of brainless bots with guns.
Hey, Rev. Would you hate me if I decided to put a missile launcher on it?
I would, like, if you wanted to it for the giggles, I would sort of eye roll and be like, fine, it's your choice as a player character.
No,
Above the table, our probably most tactical advantageous option for the ranged weapon would be a heavy bolter.
Yeah, I agree. The heavy bolt. No, what you do, this is what you do. Over time, Icarus, you create your heavy weapons team. 3 combat servitors, each with a heavy bolter, and a 4th member with the missile launcher.
You sold me.
Uh,
I'll roll for the
or
heavy
better
bolter.
yet, a mortar team. Or, well, not a mortar team,
Ooh.
but a mortar.
Yeah, there's a mortar in the other book. That would be really funny. We'll go for the heavy bolter right now, though. That's
Alright.
very rare.
What are we looking at here?
The heavy bolter is very rare. The so that's
Minus 20. We're at minus 20 so far.
and then the combat servitor itself would be the extra -5.
So minus 25. So that's 58, 38, 20. Nope, 33. 33, 43 with a fate point.
I'll fate point that.
Yeah, 43.
And we'll hope that the dice do what they want.
So
Hell yeah.
now here's the question. Do you take Hyderak Fell's dead body remains and turn him into your combat servitor?
Well, yes. I thought you'd never ask.
So we now know which one is Hyderak Fell. It's the one with a heavy bolter sticking out the back.
Point of order. You are going to have to buy, because of your choices of surgery, you're probably going to have to buy some cybernetic senses to replace his eyes as well.
Yeah, it'll come later.
I hate to rules lawyer that, but like you did just take his eyes, so he is going to have a replacement for those.
Yeah, he's gonna need more than somebody to guide him now. He needs to be able to have autonomous sensor capability, so he knows what to shoot at. When
At
you
a
say,
shoot
shoot over there.
26, he could have afforded an extra -5 for augmented sensors.
Yeah, you know what? Go
Oh.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, throw them on there. Because 26 and 5 is 31, which is just under the 33, and somehow the math works out, no matter what is actually coming out of my mouth.
I know there's a sheet for them. Do you know where that is?
I have no idea.
The augmented senses and cybernetic eyes.
No, the
Combat
actual
servitor?
servitor sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a servitor sheet. Give me a minute, I'll get it to you. I was trying to do the math on my roll.
Okay.
It's if you look at if you go to where the description for servitor is in the gear of the first rule book,
Mm-hmm.
it has a number that you can reference to that second page. So
Okay.
if you want, you can look that up. But give me just a second on mine.
Oh,
Is anybody?
We've
everybody
lost
else has taken
Alterios.
Huh?
We lost
Do
you
we?
on the table.
He popped
Oh.
out on the table.
Oh. Timeout from server.
That does take us to Brogadillo. What do you got?
Well, I was gonna double check the math on something. I'm either going to roll for a set of best crafted light power armor,
Okay.
or I'm going to roll for a the cybernetic. I think I'll have to double check the description. It's either cybernetic senses or cybernetic eye. You can have a scope as part of the eye, and so I was going to use an omniscope, but the omniscope is more rare, so I need
unique.
to. Well, I meant it's more rare than the actual
Right.
cybernetic attachment. So I was going to do unique -5 and see how that mathed out before I decided which I was going to roll for.
So unique rarity is -70. So that's a -75.
But then +30 for the
For the individual, that's a -75, so -45.
and it's there's no
So-
benefit to best crafted on Omniscope, is there?
Not that I'm aware
I don't
of.
think so.
So the
No.
crafting would be common,
Yeah.
which would be another what is that a 0 or a +10?
It's 0. Common is 0.
Yes.
That's what things default to.
Okay, that's what I was
So
thinking.
you're looking at effectively a 13, I think.
Well, 58 -30. Or is it -35?
So it was -75 plus 30, so that's -45. So 58 minus 45 is
that's
13.
that's a rule. That's clearly I needed to math that out. I have a Google document where I mathed out a bunch of things in the past and it's disappeared.
Yeah.
So I'll since I've already wasted enough time, I'll just simply take the roll for the power armor.
Okay.
Which we'd already done the math on, and that I need to get a. I'm gonna obviously.
that
Well,
the-
I'm sorry.
was
The
that-
Omniscope is near unique, not unique.
That changes it to a 23. Nope. Correction. You'll go from 33 to Jesus Christ. No, 33 is the final number. It was 13, and then near unique is 20 less. So
Yeah.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Yep.
So 33, and then for the light power armor that you were trying to get, what was the number you were going for, Warner? It was like 38 or 48 or something like that?
It was 48.
With the
So
fate point, right?
It's a 43
Yes.
versus a 48.
Correct.
I think I'll risk the extra 5 points of difference knowing I have a reroll.
There you go.
I'm going for the Omni Cybernetic.
Omni Eye.
Okay.
Obviously a reroll. I don't know why. Oh, okay.
There you go. You got it. You have an Omni Eye.
He has an Omni Eye.
He now
so that
kind of
is-
looks like the guy on the cover of the Rogue Trader book.
Right. So my Omniscope eye, there was some other benefit to that cybernetic component. Give me a minute to look that up in the book. You may
Holy
decide to waive
shit.
that because it's got an Omni eye. What?
I was curious, so I looked up the difference between the heavy bolter solar and just a Space Marine pattern, a Astartes pattern bolt gun.
Excuse me.
Their normal bolt guns do more damage than the solar heavy
Because their bolt
bolter.
guns are literally twice the size of a standard bolt gun.
It's just nuts.
The bullet is massive.
It's best Marines.
Spice Marine!
Space
So there's augmented senses and cybernetic senses, and I get them mixed up, which I think it's cybernetic. Give me 1 second.
Cybernetic and is augmented. Augmetic.
No,
isn't it?
they're separate. They're separate things.
Oh. I thought that's what cybernetics was called in 40K, was augmetics.
Yeah, I thought it was called augmetics too, but there could be separate things in the books.
There could
Well,
be, yeah.
There is. The book has a separate. If you look under cybernetics, there is augmented senses, which could give me a straight up like +10 to perception.
Gotcha.
But there's also cybernetic. I just lost again. Cybernetic senses, which offer a couple of other minor things in addition to being able to do what I just did and stuff a scope in there.
Cybernetic senses.
Yeah, I'm reading it now. Hold on. That's poor. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't actually offer any other benefit other than being an Omni. If I had gone for best crafted and had an even lower roll chance, which I think I would have failed, I could have gotten
Number of other traits.
Mm-hmm. But I will be happy with the Omniscope built into my eye that works on all of my weapons because I have
an Omniscope built into your eye.
Well, I have an Omniscope built into my eye, machine a weapon interface unit built into my brain, and machine weapon interface built into my arms to interface between the sheams and my everything else.
All right.
He's more machine now than man.
It is probably a 4-day process for you guys to wander about and acquire all these things and put them all together and make them happen. Especially considering, augmetic surgeries and the assembly of a combat servitor and moving things around, trades, and getting the ship restocked.
And constantly being told, no, we don't have that armor in stock.
Yeah, several shops visited. Go ahead, Rev.
I also, for the purposes of lore and a later thing that may happen, I will be inquiring with the Seneschal as to how the other acquisitions are coming.
Actually, as you request to have a sit down or a brief update on that particular series of events, he actually says, Lord Captain, I actually need a moment of your time, if I may.
Certainly. Shall I come to your office or you to mine?
It's funny that you say that as I stand right here next to you, having entered your office.
Well, that wasn't how you...
I know. I didn't clarify. It's fine. First, you inquired about that special task. It is underway. Above board, was that to be completed before we left football again? I don't remember. Well, there's a lot that I'm trying to remember.
That's fine, and I understand that you have a lot on your plate. Above the table, it was sort of to be associated with the
arrival at the other place. Yes?
Indeed. Okay. Yes.
Okay. In that case, he says, as best as I can tell, that process is well underway. Unfortunately, I have not received any new updates, and here's why. And he pulls out let's call it a chart. It's not the most dynamic or visually stunning chart, but it is an effective chart. And he indicates to you that it is a good thing that we are about to embark on our return to Regius, which is obviously right here, because we've lost contact with Acheron. And he goes on to further elucidate, and he says, me get in the right spot in my notes. What is of concern is that the astropathic relay established around Achelos by your grandfather appears to have been severed sometime during our foray to and from Mogoros. This, I want to be clear when I say this, this astropathic relay is nothing like the ones that you would find in the Imperium. This is more of a cobbled together thing that your grandfather started and we were able to maintain ever since. It is merely a small astropathic choir that your grandfather acquired. We set it up in a station orbiting the planet in order to relay information between Regius and Footfall and elsewhere in the Imperium. The severing of this connection is obviously something of a concern, and we should be resolving it as we make our way back to Regius.
Obviously.
Um,
I hold up a hand and I say, I basically place the order for Winter to be summoned at her earliest convenience, as astropathic choirs, the potential means of their disruption, and what might likely be required for their restoration is literally her bailiwick.
Yes. The short synopsis of that, because we're getting low on time, is obviously a handful of psychers. The more the merrier, or based on, the intended range or connection length, a certain prescribed amount is typically required. Otherwise, it could be on the surface of the planet, it could be in a space station around the planet, it could be in any semi-stationary or relatively stationary location. The particulars on that are indifferent, other than the actual choir. And then there's some, for lore's sake, I don't know if there's any specific requirements for, the stone and the glass and all that, but let's just say there's something, and whatever it is, that she has a list of those parameters.
Okay, well, I would have her as part of our time that she's been spending on the station, should this be made, and whatever time we have remaining before we leave, I want her putting together either a list of contacts of people who have this, or even some potential candidates possibly on station or off, be it with the Imperial Navy, someone else, she has other contacts outside, for essentially lining up part suppliers so that once we know what's wrong, we know who to contact to
As you wish.
Make repairs as speedily as possible.
As you wish. Of course, the fact that we've lost contact is not indicative of what the cause of loss of contact is. We won't know for sure until we arrive. It is, of course, disconcerting, nonetheless.
If there is a simple reason for the disruption, it may be simply resolved, but one doesn't walk into a situation of this magnitude without contingencies.
Indeed. In fact, it's entirely possible that the Psychers are alive. They're just not able to transmit for some reason. Although that is... He chuckles, but not in a... It's obvious he's not amused by this idea. But it's a chuckle regardless.
Mm-hmm.
That. Having said that, of course, it's probably not that.
Of course it's not that.
Of course, because losing astropaths is probably much more likely than it is to be anything else.
The question is whether or not it's a move by the Fell family or something worse.
I think you put too much stock in the Fell family, but also maybe I'm not putting enough. At any rate, Lord Captain, there are a few more matters of supplies before we can deem this ship ready to set out again. I imagine you're going to want to set out post-haste, especially with this new information.
Is the pirate cutter spaceworthy? The
Paralos?
The Greek name. Is the Paralos spaceworthy? It should be spaceworthy.
It is spaceworthy. It just does not have sufficient crew or trained staff. And when he says trained staff, he's referring to the officer cadre.
Mm-hmm. Inform some of the crew of the former Fell Hand that they are being seconded for temporary usage to complete the duty roster of one of my other ships, and instruct whomever's senior, presumably the current captain of the pirate vessel, to prepare it for escort with us at all possible speed. Pursuit of profit is to wait here.
Oh, the
Assist.
Pursuit of Profit. I think when you mentioned that ship, Thale just has like a big frown. He's like, I don't think that ship will be ready for at least 2 months, Lord
The
Captain.
Pursuit of Profit is to wait here upon completion of its repairs, should it be repaired sooner than the Fell Hand, and is to its crew and cargo capacity is to be used to expedite any repairs necessary for Fell Hand if at all possible. In our
Are you? I think at that point, Thal is updating his data slate, and he's like, "Do you want to prioritize the Fell Hand over the Pursuit of Profit in repairs?"
The Fell Hand is probably the Pursuit of Profit is probably closer to being finished with
It
repairs
is
by
by
this point, I would
an
imagine.
order of about 2 or 3 months.
That's correct. It's also a cargo ship, a vessel that can move spare parts that could go to nearby or way station systems and acquire other things to increase the repair time of the Fell Hand.
Yes, I see.
To move
Decrease.
I know what he means. Yeah.
to move items from the Mechanicus station in the system, should they be purchased there, at an expedited pace over what the Mechanicus might consider timely.
Well, the Mechanicus considers things timely in the millisecond, but I digress.
The Mechanicus considers things orderly if they're running on time to the millisecond. The Mechanicus delivers parts in their own well sweet time.
Yes, that is true. You'll have to motivate them.
Well, I won't have to motivate them if I have a cargo ship to pick up the part myself.
Yes. Very well, Lord Captain. I will see what I can do about getting the Pursuit of Profit turned into a local merchant vessel to get parts as needed to put the Fell Hand back into service. Have you given any thought to renaming that disgusting ship? No need for an answer now, of course. Your Lieutenant Commander Hadrak. I need a better name. I'll come up with a different name for him. The current commander of that vessel is not going anywhere anytime soon. Unless you dragoon him into the Perilous.
Well, he may be seconded to the Perilous. I'm basically having some command officers and whatever additional crew needed put on the Perilous temporarily so that we can have a fully functioning, fully crewed ship to accompany us to the capital. And I'm also essentially not leaving the former Fell Hand alone either. Here's a name, and but it's merely a proposal. I want input from the rest of the cast. How does anyone feel about the Glad Hand?
I'd prefer the Dealt Hand.
That's actually, the Dealt Hand is a good name because you definitely dealt a fucking blow to the House Fell operations.
Considering this is a bigger ship and is probably going to be your flagship after this, may want to put a little more thought into the name.
We can always do that next week.
If it were slightly larger, I'd say the Acheron's barge.
Acheron's barge. What's Perilous? And then for now, I'm just gonna call it the Fell Hand.
Everybody knows what glad handing is, right? I don't have to explain.
Yes.
It to anybody.
Schmoozing.
That's why I was in the ballpark.
Kissing babies.
Yeah.
Shaking hands, smiling at people.
Yeah.
Glad handing also involves a large amount of bribery.
Usually, yes. Or possibly, maybe not usually, but yes, there is that nuance to it.
There we go.
But I basically just did kiss a bunch of babies to win the loyalty of the ship.
Did something. just want to set this up because I'm gonna.
By the way,
staying back.
whoever is in charge of repairs, I'm directing that plenty of compliance and whatever necessary kickbacks are to be given to the station. Don't cause too much of a fuss with the regent, even if he does technically answer to me in his status as regent.
I think the regent will be preoccupied. I've picked up some chatter from the Inquisition. I don't know what exactly will happen, but I think as long as we do what we have to do here and we don't cause more of a fuss, he won't be a problem for us either. With that, nope, I actually need to make the folder first, so I'll do that in a minute. With that, go ahead and take 250 points of experience, and Warner, give us some feedback, outro comments. As we move into our final bit.
Yeah, had a lot of fun tonight. So thank you.
You killed a guy
for running. I
to
did.
paraphrase from Anchorman.
Anchorman. Yes.
I'm glad you caught it so fast.
About that, you might want to lay low for a while.
Yeah. What else you got? You got anything else?
Where did you even get that?
Anyway. I got it from an acquisition rule. I got it from a guy in the future.
But yeah, I had an awful lot of fun tonight. I like the I guess more improvisational nature of what happened tonight.
Yeah, there was that whole duel thing was absolutely not, I was not prepared for that.
But yeah, you rolled with things very well, and I had a great time. So,
well, good. That's good.
What more could I ask for?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yes, I do know what more I could ask for. My power.
Well, stop failing rolls.
But
that's all
yes,
I can say.
The rolls are not your fault.
Yeah.
They're darn tabletop simulators' fault.
Definitely somebody's fault. It's not mine. Know that.
No.
All right.
Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna blame you anyway.
I can
Icarus.
save it for my turn.
I'm sorry, Alturios.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, sir? Feedback, outro, comments.
I did not expect to be taking someone's eyes and ears, but you know.
Here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. I was kind of nice to actually see that that trait come into play.
Oh, you're talking about from your captivity
am I going to go insane and just pull out a gun and ruin everybody's day?
You certainly could have, and I think what would have been interesting is you know we took a second to think about what this would look like in you know like in real life or whatever, and the truth is like you knew that this was a dual honor, nobility, etc., etc., etc. Now, if it's some random ass person was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm big badass. I'm gonna sell you all to the crew," yeah, then in which case, yeah, just shoot the motherfucker in the face.
Yeah.
But also recognizing that, however unlikely, if Reinhardt had lost, then yeah, then you shoot him in the face and nobody's got to worry about it. Also, we need a new arch militant.
Yeah. So that was cool. I liked it, and the improv was good. Being
Thank
able
you.
to roll with the party's bullshit is half of the deal.
Let's be clear. That was Rev's bullshit, not the party's bullshit. I love how Rev was the first one to start laughing.
Rev, me, and Warner did kind of talk about it together after last session.
Shocker. I noticed you guys were hanging out in Discord for a little bit last week.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, That's definitely a fuck with Omar planning session right there.
Oh
That
yeah.
right there. GM senses tingling.
Yep, and
To be fair,
I had to intentionally look away.
to be fair, and not have too much ire directed at them, it was more me pulling them in and going, "Hey, I have an idea of how we can mess with Omar."
I don't think he ever doubted who the ringleader was.
Oh, no. I know that without a doubt, 99.879% repeating, of course. If there is a ringleader, it's Rev.
Thank you.
Darius, feedback, outro, comments. What do you got for us, my friend?
Just that the whole you not being prepared for that duel was by design.
I'm not surprised. Not in the slightest.
I was.
Completely by design.
It's not my turn. I'll wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, it's your turn now.
I thought you were about to just straight up kick us off the station with the with the
duel.
Yeah, not with the duel. I thought you were going to have the regent, who doesn't have the authority to kick a rogue trader off the station, was going to try to kick a rogue trader off the station.
I thought about it. I forget exactly what was going on at that particular second or two, but I definitely thought about it. And I was like, no, hold on. Let's let this play. Oh, wait, there's Rev once again chomping at the bit to say something. So let him say it, and that'll distract me. And look, it distracted me.
Uh-huh.
But I do appreciate you rolling with that particular punch. And in the sake of honesty, and this is me letting the good beat out the perfect. You did misunderstand what my actual invitation was.
What invitation?
I did say my initial challenge was the rogue trader and a champion of his choosing. It was going to be me and Warner versus the rogue trader and whoever he.
Okay.
But
I thought I was probably in kind of semi-scramble mode at that moment.
You were, and so that's why I thought, look, he's having to come up with stats for the rogue trader. If he also has to come up with stats for a champion, that's even more on his plate.
Well, Haderach Fell was in the book, thankfully. Had I needed to come up with somebody else, I'd have probably just used Lady Ash, except for the Psyker part. She was also in the book. It just wouldn't have made a lot of sense narratively. But
right.
Whatever.
I wasn't initially trying to just potentially throw Warner or Reinhardt to the dogs. He was going to be helping me, not him alone. But when it was like, okay, only one of us, I'm like, all right. And I messaged Warner and I'm like, this wasn't what I had planned, but do you want to do it?
I thought, to be fair, I thought I had heard.
But Reinhardt wanted to give the captain the opportunity to step forward.
Yeah. Well, I thought I had heard a duel between, one-on-one, either the rogue trader or their designated champion. And I figured Haderach Fell was like, no, fuck you, I'm doing this.
Well, I actually said and.
I missed that part. Whether it was because I was scrambling or any other reason, I totally missed that part. But yeah, you caught me offhand. I'm not gonna lie, but I think I rolled with it just fine. So
you did. You rolled very well.
Now that everybody got to see me waving the middle finger around, any other final thoughts?
No. Sorry, and I didn't get to see it because the dog made a mess that I'm cleaning up off the floor right now.
Oh, that's a shame. It looks like this.
Okay. Does it smell like what I'm cleaning up?
No.
Okay, too bad.
Pretty sure my fingers don't smell like that. I have showered twice today.
You started to say I took a.
Well, I was gonna say I took a shower. And it was like, well, actually, I took two. So
I took a and then
no,
I've actually showered twice today. Yes.
I mean, I've also shat twice today, but you didn't want to know that.
Yes, but what everyone to know is, was it on your fingers?
Don't you worry about where it went. All right.
I've taken the liberty of editing the battle servitor NPC and have what we have for our combat servitor in Discord. So
nice.
Yay!
Now, just to be clear, because I was looking at other maths, Did you get it? Were you able to get it with the weapon, or are we going for the weapon later?
No,
We
we
got it
have
with
the
the
weapon.
Okay, so what weapon is it?
The heavy
bolter.
Yeah, heavy bolter, right?
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you pick out a melee, or is that something we need to acquire in the future? Because
That's something we'll get in the future.
Currently has a club the
Okay.
shape of a man's arm and fist.
yes, it has an arm. I was simply saying, because I was thinking like, and this is up for the squad, but like chain axe or power axe sounds really fun to me.
Yeah.
It
But that's
currently has servo fists.
I know. I was just kind of seeing what the party might want to throw on it for flavor. And technically all three of us bought it, so final say is his.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thanks for stopping
All
by.
right.
Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. I know Rev can be
Hey,
annoying,
real
but
quick, how
Uh-oh.
much was the XP?
250.
250.
250.
Yep.
Sorry, I missed that earlier.
No worries. I kind of spit it out really fast and then went right into feedback, outro comments with you. So, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you have enjoyed it, you can always push all the like, subscribe, share, etc. buttons, or you can join us on the Discord if you're watching live on the stream. Just simply enter into the stream chat !Discord. That will give you the link for our server, or you can find that link in the description for this video down below if you're watching this on YouTube. And as I said, that's it for us. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grim, dark world, so make sure you're doing what you have to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. See you next time. Have a good one.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh yeah.